Hi everybody and welcome to session 32 of the Order of Narvosc. This is Enter Ruby. We hope you enjoy.
The Professor and Velphie made their way to Inaria's little encampment and conked out immediately after being on the run for 7 hours. So they wake up in the evening the next next day, to bread and berries, and they have a conversation with Inaria talking about what they saw there, weaknesses and strength of that big creature dog, and she gives us 3 vials of alchemist fire and a short bow or crossbow? Short bow?
Short bow for you, yep.
Short bow and 3 fire arrows?
I believe so. I did add all of it to your inventory too, just in case.
Oh, okay, cool. And as a way to help us combat this thing when we inevitably go back. And we pretty much spend the rest of Naria heads out with Pike to see whatever she can find to get back home, I assume. I think that's what she said. And she tells us about the green and purple light coming from the direction of Ashenward. So we have that information, but that with the story that Cipere told us, we're kind of, putting pieces together that maybe it's happening again or something. So the Professor and Velphie talk about all of that, and they talk about a lot of things, really. And we go back to sleep so that way we can wake up the next day and start our traveling in the morning. When we wake up, Inaria is still gone. And it takes us about 2 days to get back to Limbo. And on the way there, Velphie reads her Book of Deities and finds that Erebus and Orleander are not in the book, but Inaria is, and so is Necrosix and Drasana. So she reads about them. And let's see. As we're traveling, we morph into the Fey realm, where Velphie and the Professor come across the altar that they had found before and decide to ask a question about what lies underneath Esarora. So the Professor asks it, is shown a vision of a giant feline creature made entirely of stars that seems to be pacing back and forth as if it's guarding something. And he tells Velphie about that. And Velphie and the Professor continue contemplating this poem that they have that they don't have all the pieces to, but they're hyper-focused on it. They will solve it. And they continue back to Limbo. They get inside after saying the magic word and head to Cipere to give a report about what they saw, give her all the information, and Cipere is left with a lot to think about after being told about hope, the lights, the monsters, that there's more to the poem. So she's got a lot in her head right now. And then after we see Cipere, before we got in there, Beltoff was getting reprimanded. And then after Cipere, the Professor sees Calandra and Golmac, heads over there and has a little conversation with her, and Golmac. And we learned that Antier's mom came in. And then Velphie sees Antier and Beltoff at the tavern, so she goes over there, hangs out with them, and then we all gather at the end of the night, where Velphie sings a happy song about falling in love, and everyone just has a great night.
And that was perfect. You also got 5 buttons from that tip.
Yes, and I got tips.
You got tips. You're never gonna let me live that down. All right. So that was a perfect recap. And we now have a little bit of time to recoup before you all are sent out. But we are going to start with a lone figure leaving the stables after one of their most recent missions. Most people seem to avoid this person as she enters the main entrance of the of Limbo, and they just kind of like, they give like these side glances, give these kind of awkward little smiles, and like, and then kind of skitter somewhere else. Some avoid eye contact, some are whispering. A little girl starts to walk towards her holding a small little doll. But you quickly see the mother grab her hand, trying to be discreet about it, give an awkward little smile, and pull the kid away. And the kid doesn't quite understand why. But as this person is walking into Limbo Forest, do you want to describe your character?
You see a average stature person, covered in leather and heavy boots as they kind of stomp through this area. Everything about them kind of has a predator, panther type vibe as they kind of slip through the shadows. And you think they would go undetected, except they're making these loud thumps as if they don't want people to be surprised by them. They have a hood up over their head, and as they see this girl come forward with a doll and then be hushed away by her mother, you hear a little sigh under their breath. On their back, they have a pretty large pack, and you can hear kind of jingle underneath the leather coat as if they're carrying several different items underneath. And as they walk through, there is a scent of kind of an alluring smoke that follows them.
And as you make those thunderous steps walking in, so that way you do not surprise anyone, you see buildings carved into stone with wooden accents from the forest outside. There's a giant tree in the center of this area, and it's beautiful and it's green. And it's a green that you are used to seeing, but isn't common in this area. Everything's kind of diluted and dull, and this is a color that is a little bit more bright than is normally in this area. It's one of the tallest trees you've ever seen, even with all of your experience, as its canopy creates a dome over the inside of this mountain. There are mushrooms that glow different shades of blues and purples. And fireflies are in the top of the canopy that just twinkle like little stars. You know Cipair is waiting for a report from your most recent mission. What would you like to do?
Ruby is going to approach and pull her hood back, and there's a flash of red as her eyes turn red and then return to a very stable silvery gray. It's always like a constellation under here. Playtime was fun, successful.
And you were heading to Cipair's to tell her that?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And as you make your way to Cipair's, there are little stones that glow that light your path, and you go into Cipair's office and you tell her playtime. How did you word it?
Playtime. What did I say?
Playtime was successful? Is that what you said?
Playtime was successful.
Wonderful. I'm glad playtime was successful. Did you learn anything new?
There were lots of goodies out there for me to take, but not a lot to report on. There was a singular corpse. Not a lingerer on his body, though. Thank goodness. Well, actually, the lights. There were some lights, but different than the twinkle twinkle here.
Different than the twinkle twinkle how?
Southeast. The southeast, yes. Green, purple, shimmer.
And you see her face kind of fall. And it's like there's this nervousness that starts to pop up. So it is happening again. How often did you see it?
Just the one time after I finished killing the little beasties. The ones with the little balding patches and rotting teeth like broken piano keys.
Okay. Well, at least they're no longer in the way. You did wonderful, Ruby.
I am always happy to be useful.
And she just gives you a small smile. And even with everybody else kind of giving these like awkward side glances and kind of scurrying away when Ruby shows up, C Pair doesn't act that way towards them and has a look of genuine, like, you did good. With the lights, we're going to need to handle that pretty quickly and figure out a way. But first, let me give you this. And she gives you 500 buttons for payment.
Quite a sum. I guess it was worth my time. But is this for payment now, or is it for future payment for something else?
This is for getting rid of the beasties and gathering things off of the corpse with no lingerers. I do have another mission I need to send you on in a couple days, though, if you don't mind going.
I am always happy to be of help.
This will be a group mission. There are others I'm going to send you with. There are 2 new members in Limbo. They are from Sydonea, but so far they've proven their trustworthiness. They're going to Esarora to determine what's at the bottom of it. There's something of, they claim it's legendary power underneath there, and there may be a way, that could be a way for us to lift whatever is currently going on here. And I know I can count on you to help them and us retrieve it.
Are these new people, how would you say that they work with others?
These 2 seem to work well with others so far. So Professor Friedrich, he is very good with people because he, I think, taught something. Apparently he likes feet. I have learned that much. He's calm, and he seems to give everybody a fair shot. Velphie seems to love and appreciate everyone to a point to where we may have to tell her to, be a little bit more discerning of who she likes. So I do think that they work really well together, but they are well connected with people in Sydonea, specifically the Red Tiefling Assassin. He has not given us a reason to distrust him yet, but he is here too.
He is here in Limbo?
Yes. He sleeps in the prison at night, but he is under Beltov's care during the day.
I will work with them.
Thank you.
Who, where? It's a puzzle. Do I find them, or do they find me?
So take 2 days to yourself. Do whatever you need to plan. Do whatever you need to get ready. This monster that they have mentioned that has broken out at Esarora is very deathly afraid of fire. And then I will call you in 2 days.
I will take the 2 days for myself. Lots of cleaning up to do, right? They really need my help.
Who are they, Ruby? Do you know who they are?
I don't think they know who they are anymore. But, and she pulls out just a key ring that have all these little straw dolls attached. Something will help them one day, and I think it's me. And she attaches the key ring back to a belt.
I am very sure you'll help them, Ruby.
I will. All right. This is it. I need a bath. Good night. And she stomps out of the office.
And as you stomp your way out of the office, the entire time that conversation was going on, this is what you hear in the back of your head. Things that just people, beings, creatures, they just won't stop talking. But you are able to make your way towards the bath hall with steaming water and get cleaned up. And people do kind of make their way out of the way when you start walking. You do see, as you are making your way towards the bath hall, Beltov is at the bar currently with Mech, and you also see a red tiefling next to him.
It's a good evening for maybe making new friends. Beltov.
Hi, Ruby.
Out for a treat?
And he holds a little mug up. Out for a treat.
And who is this?
This is Antir.
And is Antir here of free will? Or have you just drug him along?
Antir has this look of like bewilderment on his face as he's just like looking back at Beltov, looking at you, looking at Beltov, looking at you. And Beltov is actually going to turn his face to Antir. I am a felon. I have been locked up. But I am here on my own free will. I did pass the test, I promise.
It wasn't a trick question. Enjoy your treat.
And he holds up a little mug and he just kind of stares at it. I'll try. I'll try.
It's nice that people get to try here and be here and overall just choose what they want to do, is it not? You get to choose. They all should have a choice.
He ponders that. Yeah. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I put my dice away. Why did I do that? Okay. 14.
14. With a 14, every time you look at Antir, the voices lower. And it's almost like they have their interest peaked as they get quiet and they just stare.
What sort of things did you do? What type of person are you? It's so quiet.
I got in trouble for I choke, and he like starts choking on his words. I believed in the wrong people.
Haven't we all? What a common experience we all must have to be here. To want to not be stagnant. To want to move past something to make a right.
And Beltov chimes up. I really like the way you think of things. It's different.
It's all muddy right now. I've been alone for a few days. It'll be better after a bath, I promise.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully we're not keeping you.
It's nice to want the company sometimes. But I know I can be off-putting. And she's looking at Antir just with like a very intense stare as her grin just begins to shift and her teeth or her changeling form kind of has like more of a shimmer to it as she's thinking of all the things that he is or could be.
Antir Let me roll for him. On tier, he holds his stance, and he seems a little bit more curious than anything, but he doesn't seem too off put. He just doesn't know how to respond as he's watching like the shimmering and the face changing and the like just the slight like morphing. And he just And we're gonna pan over to Velphie at this time. Velphie, what are you doing?
Let's see. What time of day is it? What's going on?
We're gonna say it's about 4, 5.
4 p.m. 4 or 5. Okay. And is this a work day? Is she in the tavern?
Roll me a d20. Less than 10, it's a work day. More than 10, it's not.
That is a 2.
It's a work day.
It's a work day. So I guess Velphie would be in the tavern. She would be in the tavern while that happened? While this conversation's happening?
Yeah, we could say you're slinging some drinks at the moment, playing some tunes. So you see this interaction going on, and you see somebody you have never met before.
Okay, so she'll take note of that. Just kind of note this figure. Does she notice the changeling shimmering and things? Do I need to do?
You've never seen a changeling shift.
Okay.
So you wouldn't necessarily know it's a changeling shift. However, roll me perception or arcana.
Let's see.
And
We're gonna do
Ruby,
perception.
perception. Are you trying to hide this from anybody other than on tier at the moment? Or is this kind of just something that happens? Cool, okay.
It's just something that happens.
Alrighty. We're going to say if you beat a 12, you'll see it.
Natural 20 plus 4.
You definitely see it. And Forrest, would you like to describe a little bit more in detail of what the shimmering looks like?
She has very pale grayish type skin that's covered in these leathers, and framing her face is black hair that swoops across with a white streak kind of on one side. And as her skin shimmers, it almost looks as if it's water that is taking new shape, that's being poured into new vessels as it's beginning to look as if it's something different and then comes back to its original form. So even though it has this like liquid shape to it, there's still something solid about it as it frames her skeleton.
Okay.
Almost,
so Velphie,
I guess, yeah, maybe like Quicksilver a little bit. Or Mercury, the way it kind of moves around too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Velphie she'll take note of that, and I guess whenever she has the opportunity, when she's not busy or singing or whatever, she would spend her time like hanging out wherever Antir is if he's in the tavern. So she would eventually make her way over there.
And we're going to say you have like a free moment where people aren't asking for drinks and you're in the middle of a set, so you're taking a break. And you're able to walk over there.
She walks over and she'll snake an arm around Antir and say, "Hello, I'm Velphie."
Velphie, your name sounds like a song escaping.
Well, I guess that's fitting, for I am a bard. I do a lot of singing, a lot of music. It's very fitting, I think.
Your presence is new, I think.
I guess to here. Yeah. I mean, I've only been here for like what, 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 2 weeks?
I think it's been 3.
3 weeks? No?
So my mission took me aside from meeting the new people. I wish I could have been here to welcome you. I'm very hospitable.
I would have loved to have met you. But we are meeting now, which is fantastic. And I can feel the hospitality.
Have, I don't know, a treat on me, and she'll give like just a handful of buttons. It's nice to end the day with something sweet.
Oh, you don't have to do that. I get him on the house. So.
Oh, so you must be favored in some way. That's very special.
Well, I work here.
You work here?
Yeah, in between missions.
This is where you find your purpose.
This is where I find my purpose.
It's a beautiful thing, Velphie.
Yeah.
Well, why did you come alone? Most people have to approach in a group if they want to speak. Something about courage, I think.
Come alone to Limbo?
To talk with me.
Oh, to talk. Oh, well, so this aunt here is my boyfriend. And I was coming to say hi.
Romance. It's a lovely thing to have someone to depend on.
And she'll kind of look at Antir a little adoringly and then look back at Ruby. It's nice.
Is this how you spend your evenings?
I spend mine in jail.
Right, because he's a felon. I don't know if he's told you.
It was mentioned. I just figured if you're out and about. What are the actual limitations here? I don't know. I'm learning more.
That's true. What are the limitations? Anything is possible. And she'll just kind of look at Antir with this little suggestive look.
Let me see if he catches on to it. He doesn't.
Damn it.
As long as it's before sundown, yeah.
Right, because a felon's got to go back to his prison cell every night.
And you kind of see Beltov just kind of like face plant, like the hand on the face, like, oh, buddy. And then he will grab a drink from Mech as Mech kind of like slid the drinks across the counter and kind of like eased away. And Beltov is going to give the drink to Velphie since Ruby gave buttons for a drink. And also pass one to Ruby as well. A treat.
I do love having a special drink in the bath, especially after being alone for a few days. Helps to bring the calm back inside, all of the noise. Whew.
Yeah. Being alone can be tiring, you know? Not having anyone really to talk to or interact with. It can be very tiring, very sad. But you're back now with a treat.
Very special.
Very special treat. And, well, I guess you can enjoy your treat in the bath.
How long will you be here? It seems rude to leave without hearing a song.
Oh, I'll be here until my shift is over. So, I mean, I could totally go back and play a song.
I will return. Beltov,
Yes, Ruby.
will you be here?
I'll be here.
Okay. It's nice not to be alone. And she just wanders away.
2 things. Roll me insight.
Okay.
And roll me a perception check as well.
Okay. Insight is a 9. Perception. Wait, do I have? Yes. Okay. Wait. Reliable talent.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that is a 16.
For insight?
And then for insight, and then perception is an 11.
Alrighty, so perception. When you ask Beltov if he'll be there and then say it's nice not to be alone, there's like this heartbreaking look on his face. Like he understands very much so, does not want to be alone. And then with an 11 perception, you notice when you start kind of like turning your gaze to Velphie a little bit, not as much as onto you, but the voices seem to get a little quieter.
She makes note of it and gives everyone a wave behind her as she walks away. There might be others who understand, who will just make the voices stop for a little bit. A bath. A bath will make it better too. Treats. People. All the lights are so bright as she makes her way into the bathhouse.
And you're able to do so as those whispers just follow you. And with that, we're going to pan over to Professor Friedrich really quickly. What are you doing?
So it's a work day.
Yes.
I'm imagining I'm hanging out with Hera, talking about something light like metatarsals.
And what exactly are the metatarsals?
It's these bones in the top of most people's feet, if you have feet. It's incredible because you think they're just like clubs you stand on, but they're quite complex.
Well, that seems fascinating.
Yeah, so sort of a roundabout answer, but that's why I enjoy tea so much. So what have you been up to?
Wait, I don't quite understand. You like tea because of feet?
Yeah, maybe I trailed off too much in my story that we're finishing now, that we've been having for, a little while. But how have things been?
Things are going great since you brought back the scrolls and everything. We've been able to add those to the repertoire, and it's wonderful to have.
Yeah. DM, we did bring back fire stuff, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Back into Friedrich. I think the at least in the short term, perhaps the fire spells could come in handy. I mean, there's some terrible things out there that don't like fire.
Yeah, I kept those on backlog for now. I think they may be of use to someone that's going out soon.
Yeah, we should hang on to those. I know a little things of the pyro persuasion myself, but I mostly stick to and I sort of whisper, necromancy.
Well, if you ever want to switch spells again, I'd be more than welcome, or very happy to do that. It'd be more than welcome.
Is there anything you want to know? You've seen my spell book. You're welcome to read it as much as you want. Don't talk to it, but you can read it.
I haven't spoken to it since you asked me not to.
That's for the best. I don't speak to it often, so...
See, that's where it gets a little strange, because I don't speak to mine.
Well, yours looks rather...
Don't insult my book.
No, I was just going to say normal, but I was trying to think of a more descriptive word.
I'm okay with normal.
Normal's good. Normal's good, yeah. So, anything in particular, that's been happening in the days we've been gone?
Just the normal. We've had a few people sent out on missions a little bit, but we've been protecting Limbo. We've been using the wards.
Anybody new come in?
We've had one person at least, a tiefling woman, apparently really good into making things, making potions. So she's kind of been going between Kara and Evie, I believe is her name.
Evie. Do you know where she's working these days? Have they assigned her yet?
They did give her an assignment. It's nothing big yet until she proves her trustworthiness. But like I said, she's been going between Evie and Kara. It's kind of where her job has led her.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll run into her at some point in the tavern or somewhere.
I mean, if you don't want to, you can just go find her.
Yeah, but it's a little bit. I don't know. I'm not going to walk around and introduce myself to every person here. I figured perhaps we could organically meet if it's meant to be.
Why the interest in her?
I just like to meet new people, particularly in a place like this where, we were the outsiders at one point. Everyone was quite hospitable to us.
Well, I mean, in order to meet new people, you have to go introduce yourself to random people, so... She kind of just gives you a little shrug, like...
I'm not going to pretend like you're not making good points. It's just not really my style, At some point, we'll run into each other. I just like to know.
Alrighty, to each their own. I don't like going up to new people either.
Yeah, it'll happen, or it won't. We'll see. A lot of people here.
Well, again, if you want to switch spells, I'm ready for that whenever.
Yeah, what do you want? I pull my big off-putting spell book out on the table, blow some travel dust off of it, and open it up.
And what spells do you... Let me look and see.
I've only learned one new one actually two new ones since I last spoke with Hera, which are Synaptic Static and Counterspell.
Ooh.
I think I had Innervation.
And what level of spell can you learn?
I can learn all the way up to level 5.
You can learn up to level 5.
And I got 500 more buttons now.
Nice. Okay, so that would be 1,000 gold pieces. She looks over your spell book. That, You mentioned that fire seems to be something that would be of use. You have a wall of fire spell.
It came in handy, too. A particularly nasty canine type creature, we'll say. Didn't like it.
It did not like fire, so that could be something good to add to the protection wards and to have on handy.
Absolutely. I find most things don't like fire. It's the things that like fire you have to be careful of.
Well, I mean, there are people who like fire.
Not being engulfed by it.
No, I sure would hope not. And she'll pull out her spellbook again. And she's got up to level... We're going to say a couple level 5s and 3 level 4s. Is there a spell you're particularly looking for to learn?
Does she have Fireball?
Oh, yeah, she's got Fireball.
I figured, but I don't. So I would love to copy that one.
Alrighty. That is going to be, let me look up Fireball and see how much that is going to cost you.
It's a 3rd level, right? But it's not necromancy.
It's not necromancy.
You can do a necromantic Fireball?
I gotta remember I never quite remember how much time and how much gold it takes for a 3rd level spell.
It's 2 hours and 50 gold per level.
2 hours and 50 gold?
Yeah, so 6 hours and 150 gold, I believe.
Alrighty. We're gonna go with that, 150 gold, and you'll get the spell. And then, of course, spending some time with her to write this down and everything.
So is that 75 buttons?
75 buttons, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. But But those don't necessarily go to her, do they? They just sort of. It's meant to be like the materials and the gameplay thing. Okay.
So you could, just for the sake of time, she does keep gold because she is a wizard, and she does that as well. So you could like give her the 75 gold buttons to get the gold pieces, and you kind of do that transference thing. And that's kind of how that happens. And then you just need to spend time with her in order to get that spell from her.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I don't know what time of day it is. Hopefully, I have 6 hours before we finish up, and I can just copy it down real quick. And however long she needs, of course, as well.
She chose a 4th level spell, so that would be 8 hours for her.
Unless it's her school.
Unless it's her school. We're going to say she's abjuration. So it's not her school.
Cool.
And so it would take her 8 hours. It's currently 4, so you could be done at 10 p.m. unless you want to split it up over the next couple days, which you could do as well. That way you get to spend time in the tavern or anything else you like to do.
Yeah, we can split it. And I imagine we're just sort of like, it's almost like a study hall. We're just like quietly scribbling and chatting about tea, metatarsals, things of that nature.
And while your spellbook is out, she does not speak because you specifically told her not to speak while that spellbook is open. So she keeps her mouth shut just in case, because she doesn't want to lose her wizard buddy.
Okay, I understand that. I did say she doesn't speak to it. She can still speak, but if she's really skittish around it, then I understand it.
Alrighty, and we're going to say you spend some time today doing the learning of Fireball. You will need to come back 2 more times at least, spending the same amount of time that you're currently doing. Where would you like to spend your evening?
I guess I would head out to the main sort of social area, the tavern, and see what's going on, see if I see anybody.
Alrighty, and as you make your way to the tavern, you do see Velphie, and you see Beltov and Antir, and you see Mac and Carlisle. You see some other people around. Kalandra and Golmac are still next to the tree, taking care of it. Probably got a little ale cup with them as well. But you do see Velphie.
Do I see Kalandra?
Yes, Kalandra's over next to the tree with Golmac.
I think I'll go over there first. Because I see Velphie with Antir, I'm assuming.
Is Velphie performing or is she with Antir right now? Because we're saying that this is like 7?
When is her shift done?
Your shift is done probably around like 8 or 9. Your day starts a little later.
Okay. Yeah, she might be performing. You know, after Ruby asked her to sing a song, she probably would have fell right back into it.
Roll performance.
Okay. I use a luck point.
You can always use a luck point.
Wait, did we get a long rest?
Yes. We're going to say yes. Today is a new day.
Yes. Okay, cool. Today's a new day. Hold on. Let me hit that button. And we're going to use...
So for context, the button thing, when we did that one shot where there was the dragons and everything, my voice changer doesn't pick up yelling. So it came out as buttons.
She was yelling buttons, and it was like, buttons. It was like screaming in lowercase.
That's so funny.
I was so embarrassed.
All right, that's a little bit better. 15.
15, alrighty. So with the 15, people are kind of like just chit-chatting among themselves and drinking their drinks. Some people pay you attention. Other people are kind of like more in-depth into their conversations with each other. But you do get 2 buttons. And is there anything you would have liked to talk with about or with Antir before that song occurs? Was there anything you wanted to talk about with him there?
Well, she does have one thing she wants to talk about, but she doesn't really want to do it in front of Beltov. So, I guess if you would allow, Before, wait, did you say before her shift ends or after?
I was saying before her shift ends. Is this something you'd like to do after?
Well, I guess, yeah, because she'll probably talk to him afterwards.
You got it. Alrighty. And with that and performing that song and getting 2 buttons, we're going to pan back over to Ruby. You were able to get your bath and get cleaned and get some revitalization after that mission alone. Are you going anywhere? Are you doing anything?
She puts her leather coat back on and has her hair a little bit slicked back away from her face, feeling very fresh, very clean. But that smoky aroma still kind of follows her as she goes back to the bar, anticipating hearing a song.
And did you go to your room at all?
No.
Not yet. Okay. All right. So you were able to head towards the bar, and you do hear some music playing. Not a lot of people are paying attention at the moment, but there are a few people that are listening intently to what Velphie is singing as she is performing on stage.
In a very awkward way, she takes a chair and just pulls it up to be very focused on Velphie to watch.
Seeing this in the middle of song, Velphie she'll just kind of nod in Ruby's direction, and just, I guess, seeing that not too many people are paying attention, but Ruby is, she'll kind of sing a bit more to Ruby.
And at the end of the song, she gives a very uneven clap as she is not knowing if you're going to keep playing or if you're finished.
I guess she'll take a pause. Thank you. And she'll kind of gesture towards Ruby.
I told you I would be back to watch you sing. You're very talented.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming in to hear me. Makes me very happy.
Yes, everyone deserves to be recognized for their skills that they bring willingly to the group.
Yes, willingly bringing skills. Yes, I love doing this and sharing and lifting the mood and, entertaining people.
That is why you look so happy. Yeah?
Yeah, I'd say so. Happy.
It could be something important for later on. I'm gonna make a note of it. And she pulls out a little notebook and just writes something down. Are you finished, or shall I sit for another performance?
I think I've got one more song and then I call it a night.
Let's hear it.
And Velphie will start her next song.
Roll me another performance check.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
What's this one called?
What is this one called?
I'm sorry, I know I'm not there. I'm just trolling.
Symphony of Heroes. So it's an upbeat song, very inspirational, kind of like something you would hear the night before a big war to kind of like get you like energetic and excited for it. Performance was a 19.
Nice. So a little bit more people are paying attention. A lot more people are paying attention with a 19. And as you are doing an upbeat song, a lot of them lift their tankards up since this is like a battle preparing song, and they're kind of like swaying with it. You hear Kalandra kind of doing like the ups and downs and the little like the little jumpies, like the mom jumpies if they're really, really excited.
Oh, I love her. So she will continue playing, and once the song is over, she'll step stand up and bow directly towards Ruby, and then put her loot away in her little bag of holding that she keeps on her hip. And then she'll go back to Antir.
And I just realized, would you like to describe what you look like
Oh,
to Ruby?
yeah. So when Ruby first sees Velphie, she sees a pink tiefling. She's got ram-like horns. They're pink horns. Just big curly black hair, pink eyes. She wears a white shirt, a black corset, pants, and boots. And she's like 5'6" you know. And yeah, that's what she looks like.
Ruby will get up and just put her stool back in its correct position and go sit very awkwardly next to Beltov.
And he just gives you a look and nods, and he's leaning up against the bar, like cool boy stance type situation, because he always can't sit in a chair the proper way. And he's just kind of like bobbing his head, and he'll look at you. You all right?
It's much better. The transition helps whenever water's involved, so I feel much more at peace now.
Good. Water does have a calming effect, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Where is your friend? The lady?
He just kind of, he has like this look on his face. Roll me an insight.
Oh. Okay. Okay. That is valuable talent 18.
He looks heartbroken for just a moment, and then he puts back up the face of the man that you know is kind of like this very passionate, very soldier-esque person, passionate for a goal. She's gone. And guess I wasn't what she was looking for. But Ruby, that's all right.
It is better to be around people that want to be near you and know you and like who you are. It's good she's gone. You'll be happy one day.
Yeah. You will be too. And he kind of gives like a little pat on the table next to you.
I think I am meant to meet new people. New people that might not be scared. They could be good.
I think this group is good.
2 new people. And she kind of looks like she's putting the dots together. Is Velphie with another person? Is she a part of a team?
Velphie is with Professor Friedrich, and he points over to Professor Friedrich. That one's a good friend. You know he's being very sarcastic.
Oh, a good friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
He cast Friends, I believe is the spell, on me the first time we met.
was it foot related?
You know, I don't think he talked about feet.
In the debriefing, I was told that there was one that liked feet. And it feels as if friends is a good way to get something that you like. Perhaps there's something else underneath. But I was told to trust them. So I will.
I mean, the reason he cast Friends is understandable. Just didn't like it at the time. I was trying to check in on Velphie for chorus, and he thought I was staring too hard.
Sounds like someone that has had the rug ripped out from under them at some point.
Maybe. I don't ask too many questions of him. He might start talking about something with a tarsal in it.
I believe that is a part of the foot.
Oh. Well, I guess he does like feet.
It's what you call the little crunchy bits whenever you find an animal. Those are the pieces that usually don't make it if you trap them in a bear trap.
Huh. And he looks like he is pondering that, like he never actually thought of that.
I think they're the ones I'm going with next. It'll be nice not to be alone.
Yeah. I think they're a good group to be with.
I trust your word.
And with that, we're going to Professor Friedrich. What are you doing with Calandra and Golmac?
Good evening. How are you both?
Hello. I'm good. How are you? And she starts fiddling with the necklace you gave her. And she's holding her little mug in one hand and kind of like holding the ruby necklace in the other.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. You look stunning this evening. Golmac, you clean up rather well yourself.
Well, I thought I looked fabulous too.
You look incredible. So, but how are things? How's the tavern tonight? How's Velphie's playing?
Oh, Velphie's playing is always top tier. We know that.
Well, yeah, nothing seems to throw her off, but I'm just making chit chat.
Well, I always like chit-chatting with you.
Any new faces around?
Not that I can tell. I haven't seen her around today, so that's made me a little brighter on my mood.
Yeah, I heard about a tiefling joining Limbo, and the person I was talking to didn't have much to say, but it's a big place. Hopefully it feels that way, and I don't ever have to run into her.
Well, here's to hoping.
Yeah.
Because I might choke her with her own tail.
You know, I don't know for certain, but I feel like that behavior might be frowned upon a little bit. Although Antir speaks very highly of his current imprisonment predicament, so maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, tell me about it. He comes to me, Mom, I'm a felon. Like, isn't this great?
I guess it's not as bad here as it would have been in Sydonea.
No. I don't even want to imagine.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, I guess I'll just sort of mingle around. It's very past my bedtime already, but we've been gone a while.
I understand. It's past my bedtime, too. And she just gives you a little, like, pat on the arm and a little squeeze.
And I'll look around. Who else do I see? I saw Velphie in them, right? I'll go over there then.
Alrighty, so you're able to make your way to where Velphie on tier is. Beltov's not too far away, and you do see Beltov sitting with a new person.
Good evening. How are you two?
You're Velphie?
Yeah, Velphie and Antir first.
Hi, Professor. Good. Just finished working my shift, and now just time to relax, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Antir, how's the slammer?
I mean, I'm still a felon.
It's like do you wear it like a badge of honor?
Roll me insight.
First roll. Here we go. Here we go. 8.
With an 8, you do not know what like intentions are behind this, but he's just like, sure.
It's good to be proud of your work.
Even with an 8, you see his face fall at that one.
How's Beltov treating you?
Beltov's nice.
Yeah. Is he being friendly?
I assume as friendly as Beltov gets.
Yeah, even spells didn't help much with that one. And apparently the memories last longer than the spell, so...
You're the one that cast it. But I mean, I was going to kill him, so I mean, I guess that was better than... Yep.
Comparatively, rather tame. I think you would agree.
Very tame.
Who's he talking to? I heard about a few other people coming to Limbo, but I haven't seen this person.
Well, she came back, I assume, from a mission that she was doing alone. And she's very interesting.
Interesting. In what way?
Not in a bad way, just in a different way.
Interesting is rarely bad. It's exciting, but okay.
She
I
was
guess
very
I'll have
nice.
to introduce myself.
Yeah.
I'm sure Beltov will be glad to see me.
Oh, I'm sure. 100%. Best friends forever.
He's warmed slightly, I think, in the time that's passed. You know, difficult
say so.
situations tend to sort of help with bonds.
Yes, we love a good trauma bond.
That's a good name for it. I did pick up, or I'm in the process of picking up a bit more fire magic for our next foray out. So hopefully we will be able to stand our ground with whoever our additional compatriot is as well.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with what we got from Anaria. And I think we'll have a better chance this time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you two enjoy your evening. I won't get between your conversation any longer, and I guess I'll go check in on Beltov. So, have a good evening.
Bye.
And I mosey on down the line, making my rounds of social greetingness.
And as I'm assuming you're making your way to Beltov next,
Yeah, sure.
Beltov just gives you a little salute.
Evening, Beltov. How are things?
Things are as good as one can expect.
Keep your expectations low and you'll never be disappointed. That's what I always told my students around test time.
Isn't that a little disappointing?
Not if your expectations are low enough.
Ruby, this is Professor Friedrich.
Professor.
Oh, where are my manners? Yes, Professor Friedrich Edler, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm very clean.
That's good. It's good to be clean. Clean of mind, body, spirit, all things, yes.
How do you clean? You clean your mind. Is there floss?
Not floss. I was never much of a flosser myself anyway. Larger teeth make it easier to get in there. I would say reading a good book, learning something new, is sort of a mind cleaning effect.
So whenever you learn, it helps your mind stay clean. Does it help it stay non-cluttered? Does it make the echoes stop?
I don't know how to stop something that hasn't quite begun, but potentially, if you mean sort of have a calming effect, yeah. Do you read much?
No. No.
That's okay. It's not for everyone. Some people find it quite boring. Many of my students did as well, but it's everyone has their own ways. Um, have you been in Limbo long? I'm rather new here myself.
I would say I've been here, but I've also been away. I try to be useful, try to help. So I go out on missions, but I have been here for a few months.
Okay, okay, so much longer than I have. Um, how are things out in the field? There, in our short foray, it was quite off-putting, frightening.
Off-putting. It's a strange word. What would be on-putting, right? But I would say it was cold and crunchy, and I'm very curious about the monsters that had no eyes. They didn't put up a good fight, but whenever you have a void in your face, one can't help but be curious.
Yes, that is an odd experience you're sharing with me right now.
I thought it would be relatable since I think I've put two and two together. You and Velphie. What a familiar name. Pink familiar name. You two went on a mission recently, scouted, saw another beastie of your own.
We did. We did. That's a good point. I mean, the void face sort of threw me for a loop a bit, but it's not like we haven't seen our fair share of um terrible things out there. But you seem rather, I mean, you look rather, if I may say, I've only just met you, look rather intimidating yourself, and I'm sure it has a similar effect against your opponents.
Well, if you are a natural enemy of something, if you find them terrifying, they probably find you terrifying in return. It's not a great thought all the time. Not everyone wants to make eye contact.
True. True.
But I've
Yes.
heard that you like to be friends. And she'll give Veltov like a little rib.
Hank grunts a little bit.
I, I I see that it's the little things we do that seem to make up our reputation over the months and years. And Beltov, I'm sure that is, as they would say, water under the bridge at this point. But yeah, I the memories last longer than the spell.
We're great friends, Professor.
Circumstances brought us closer together, definitely. And I'm thankful to be here, which is in no small part due to you. So yes, I think we're doing well.
He gives a little chuckle.
I believe I might be working with you and your companion very soon. I promise you I'm reliable and helpful and useful.
Of course, I would assume nothing less. Especially, I mean, we did hear we were gaining a new companion soon, so it's great to put a face to. The name was Ruby, right?
Ruby Mortem.
Ruby Mortem. That's a very fitting name to your style.
I look like a Mortem, or I look like a Ruby.
A bit of both, I guess. Mort being sort of a root word meaning, this is the oddest introduction I've ever given. It's lovely to meet you.
As you, Professor. Should I ask about the feat?
It's a bit concerning to me how much that has been tied to me. I will say I am so. Just for some context, I was, prior to our current circumstances, a professor at the university in Sydonea, and I was an anatomy professor. And so I'm very familiar with most parts of the humanoid body of different species, but I just I just happened to mention metatarsals a few times, and it stuck. So I mean, I just think it's a fascinating thing, and it makes me a bit of I don't know, a foot nerd, I guess. But you know, while the other compatriots back in my school days were off gallivanting and wasting their gold on drinks and other things, I was studying the feet, and I think it has served me well.
Everyone has their special interests. I think it's probably good to just own it. You like feet.
I find them fascinating among other parts of the the body. So I'm an anatomy professor, yes.
Anatomy. The sinew and the insides that can feel things sometimes different than the outsides. I understand.
Yes. Yes. Um have you ever been to Sidonia?
No. As far as I know, to quote my mother, it is a backwards town of trash.
Well, it was somewhat nice. It had its charm. There were definitely parts you would probably do best to avoid, or most people
Same
would.
as my mother.
That's that's understandable. I've definitely heard of people that have complicated relationships, but it's forgive me again. I know we've just met. I feel there's a lot of subtext to a lot of things that you say.
Subtext. Things that are rippling under the surface? Is that what you mean?
There's as much unsaid as there is said, but I guess that may be true for most of us.
It is very true. I just say the things that are right there, ready to peek out. Most people try to keep them in, but you can still see it on their faces. The way they look at you, every blink, every twitch of the mouth. When they pull their kid away when they want to show you their doll. It's easy to read people. And sometimes you just want to give people a preview, right?
As Ruby is saying this, I would say Friedrich becomes acutely aware of every facial movement he's making, and he tries to go like full, not twitching the eyes, not doing anything, just like full statue mode to be like, am I doing those things? I don't want to do those things. Hopefully she didn't see me doing those things. Yes, people are often not upfront with how they're feeling about any given thing, but sometimes that's okay. Sometimes those are sort of knee-jerk reactions that we have, and then our better angels convince us not to say things that might make us put our, and I know this won't help my reputation, put our foot in our mouth.
Or put your best foot forward.
Yes, that as well. You know, I love a good little pun like that. I think we'll be getting along swimmingly.
I have 2 days before I am meant to go out again with you all, but I would very much like to know the two of you better before working together. Perhaps tomorrow we can play.
Absolutely. What is your assignment here when you're not out in the field? How do you spend your days?
My assignment is to go see Kara, but I don't know if I am meant to do that anymore.
This is the Kara I know, right? DM? Okay. Okay. Oh, I've met her. She saved us in quite a predicament before we got to Limbo, so hopefully all is well.
Depends on how you find yourself defining well, but it can be sometimes.
Well,
Well,
yes, I
it's
would.
okay. This is how conversations end. We can end it if you wish.
I find it's best to sort of, I don't know, conversations are like a song. If they just cut off in the middle of the chorus, then it seems a bit odd. I would say I would love to speak with you a bit more and introduce, different aspects of my character. I'm rambling a bit. We can meet back here in the tavern tomorrow evening.
I would like that. To learn more about new people. That is exciting.
Yes, and to new friends, and I promise, mundane friends, I will not cast anything.
I trust you won't.
And I will just sort of nod at that point and wish you a good evening, and then I'm not sure what I would do at that point. Probably mosey off to Wallflower somewhere.
And while you mosey off to Wallflower, Calandra does go in Wallflower with you. And she brings you over a mead. And while that is happening, we're panning over to Velphie. Velphie, what you doing?
So, I would assume Velphie would have picked up on Tyr's face visibly falling.
Yeah.
Okay.
With your relationship with him, yes.
So when the professor leaves, she'll look at him for a second. And then she'll ask, so outside of being in prison and being the most handsome, sexiest, suave felon that there is, how are you adjusting to Limbo? Do you feel like you did the right thing in coming here, leaving the order, Sydonea, being with me?
And he thinks about it for a second because he really wants to give you his honest and not just like a quick quip of the tongue. So he sits there and he thinks about it. I'm adjusting okay. I really don't like being the felon, but I don't really know how else to cope with it. I hope you know I will never regret going with you.
Good. I mean, we have to deal with things in a way that we can handle it, clearly, and humor seems to be your way of coping, and that's totally fine.
And I do feel like I made the right choice in leaving the order. And he looks around at everybody for a bit. I really thought these people were bad. And everyone I've met here, even though some of them won't look at me and I can't say I blame them, everyone here has been nice to me, and I would have slit their throat the first chance I got. That's a hard reality to live with.
She'll put her hand on his back and like do these like comforting circles. It's hard dealing with the past and going against everything we were taught to believe. But you were only doing what you believed to be right and good. As did I. As did we all. we know that what they're doing is not good. What's happening in Sydonea is not good, and I believe you realized how to continue being good. And now everything you do is full of goodness. And I know that you're tough. It's one of the many, many things I love about you. And I know you can take care of yourself. But she takes his hands and she like turns her body towards him and like looks at him. But I'm here. I've joined you. And now we take care of each other. So just know that no matter how much the past haunts you, I will be here for you to love you in any and every possible way that you need to be loved.
He takes his hands and places them on the sides of your cheek and puts his forehead to yours and just kind of like nuzzles there for a bit as he just kind of like rubs your cheeks. And you don't hear it out loud, but you hear it in your head. And it is just like, it sounds like it's a breaking voice. I love you more than anything, and I hope you know that.
She nods. She doesn't say anything. She nods. And she'll squeeze him a bit tighter. I love you. And you'll be trusted. We'll get out of prison. And into my bed, hopefully.
I have been reading.
It's good. I am expecting a very good demonstration.
I'll make sure not to disappoint.
And I won't either.
You would never be a disappointment.
I'm good. You know, adjusting to everything and it's it's different from Sydonea for sure. Glad to have my dad back. And I believe that what they're trying to do here is what we need to do to stop whatever's happening, whatever's going on with the lights, portals, all of it.
Yeah. And hopefully everything will go back to this normalcy that everybody keeps talking about.
Normalcy. I wonder what that would be like.
I wonder if we'll be bored.
We won't be bored.
He gives you a wink and he gives you that fuckboy look that he's very well known for.
There's no way. Yeah. But otherwise, we're good. I think. As long as you're good.
And like, he gives you a tight hug, hand behind the head and your hair. Just gives you a kiss on your forehead. And in your head, you hear, never better.
And she just squeezes him real hard. And just kind of, settles in for the rest of the evening for how much time she has left with him.
Alrighty. And around this time, it is getting later. And Beltov will stand up from next to Ruby. I have to go take the felon to prison. He's been very adamant that he is the best felon. So I just need to make sure he is behind bars.
It's interesting, though, that the best felon will sit here quite humanely, as if the label wasn't there, to just chat and have normal conversation. Is that what they do in their cell?
In Antar's cell, he just sits. And he has a book that he's been reading. Otherwise, he's very quiet.
The voices are quiet around him.
Like you don't hear anything.
They're just lower.
I wonder why that is.
My new theory is that they are lower around happy people, so maybe he's happy.
Well, I hope he is. I think he has some things he needs to work through.
It's hard to work through things in isolation, right? People get better when you're around other people who trust and like you.
Yeah.
But I guess it's time for him to go back to his cell.
Yeah, that's one of the stipulations that we had to put him under before he could come in. Something he had to agree to.
Very agreeable. Well, have a good time with your perp walk.
I will do my best. Good night, Ruby.
Good night. And she'll slide down the bar, leaving a few buttons, simply because she doesn't know what else to do with them, and go out to the stables to find more straw and hay.
And you were able to find a lot of straw and hay, and you do see some of the mounts that you have borrowed, and they just kind of watch you and like in curiosity. And you specifically see one goat that like she's a little too short to get her head over the stable wall, but like she's got her nose pressed to the side of the stable, and like you can tell she's just looking at you through the cracks. Like she's very interested. And it's just like watching.
Don't worry, you all will get one. I have so many I used up this time. Oh, all right, you first. And she'll go and look through her keychain and find one and wriggle off a doll. Empty. One for the small white goat. And she'll let the goat eat the doll.
And she eats the doll and just kind of like looks at it very curiously. Because you've never seen this goat before. This goat's new. But she seems really interested in it. She eats it and then like looks back at your case, your key ring. Roll me a... Let's see. I think animal handling.
Ooh. Oh. Feel like I'm in Baldur's Gate. Okay. Animal handling. That's an 18.
18. This goat's different. She's so different. She's older. She's wiser. And she's just watching you. And she looks up at you and looks back at the dolls. Looks up at you.
It's not often that the stable dwellers are curious rather than hungry. You have a new face, maybe a story. Do you want to keep me company?
She gives you a nod. And you notice Beatrice on the door.
Beatrice. A long name for such a small thing. All right. But you have to go back inside. Not like a felon, though. Like an animal. All right. And she'll let the goat out of the stall to walk around with her as she yanks the dead keychains off and feeds them to the other animals.
And they all enjoy the little dolls that you have created that are empty. And you see one also that's like blepping real hard. And she just continues to blep, and then like she'll eat her toy and then she'll look back at you.
It must be nice for your mind to be so empty.
And you see Straya on the name tag, and she's just staring at you with her tongue out.
Sweet Straya. Don't worry, you'll have more soon. Another mission coming up. All right, Beatrice, let's get to work. And she'll sit down in the hay and start making new dolls and attaching them onto her keychain.
And Beatrice sits with you and just watches intently as she just looks curious. Like, what are you doing? And just kind of like does a little head tilts as she lays down. And this is an old goat. She is a mount, but she's just old. As she just looks at you, and it's a very slow movement, but she watches you make your dolls.
Oh, I do not know where you came from, Beatrice, but you seem a little too wise for an ordinary goat. Secret, what do you hold? One day you'll tell me. Haha.
And she just kind of puts her head down and just watches. Kind of like an old dog that's just watching you make something.
And she'll just absentmindedly scratch the head. It's nice to have company. It's nice not to be alone. Oh, Beatrice. And she'll just sit until she's too tired to not go to her room.
And you're able to sit there with Beatrice and make your dolls. Roll me a d6.
Okie dokie. It's a 1.
You were distracted by Beatrice a lot and giving her nuzzles and pets, so you were able to make one doll from that.
Got it.
And you make your way back to your room. And as you enter your room, do you want to describe how Ruby's got it decorated?
It is pristinely clean, and very undecorated. So it is very much like move-in day still, where there's like a top sheet, like a normal pillow, maybe like 1 or 2 small pieces of paper on the desk. And other than that, there's very little sign of trace or personality to the room, but also very little dust or things that could cause grime or shadow in the room at night.
Okay. And as you open the door and see the pristine but empty room, on the outside next to the door, you do see a few bolts for your crossbow have been placed outside the door as like a little gift.
Beltov, always thinking of me. These are pretty nice. I was running low. Better clean them up. And she'll go in and wipe them down and put them in her crossbow thing. What is it called?
I think it's is it called a quiver for
Quiver.
bolts?
Quiver.
Yeah. A crossbow quiver. And go to bed.
And you're able to go to sleep. And while that's happening, we are going to pan over to Velphie. Velphie, on tier. You see Beltov tap him on the shoulder. It's time to go.
Time to go. Well, I guess I will see you in the morning.
You talking to Beltov or Antir on that one?
Antir.
Okay.
Not
Beltov will be like, what?
What?
Antir gives you a little like smirk. I'll be thinking of you. In my prison cell, Beltov, since that's where I'm going.
Good. Very good. Well, Beltov, she'll kind of tap him on the shoulder. Have a good night. Be gentle with my felon.
He'll be all right. Speaking of gentle, though, be gentle with Ruby. She's a good one. Has been a
course.
good friend to me here.
Yeah. Always.
I trust you. He gives you a little nod. And escorts Antir away. And Antir's walking backwards, and he's got like that fuckboy like look on him as he's like giving little waves and lots to you as he makes his way back to his cell.
She reciprocates entirely, just watches until he disappears. And then she will make her way over to her living quarters.
And you're able to do so. Karis has passed out on the couch. He is back and is doing like that wide open dad mouth snoring as he just did not make it to the like bedroom. But you are back at your house and your dad is snoring and safe on the couch.
So seeing her father, she'll have this like sigh of relief. Okay, he's alive. And she'll walk over and just very gently tap him on the shoulder. Hi.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hi. Couldn't make it to the bed.
I just wanted to sit on the couch and then that became comfortable and I think I just kind of fell over.
I hate it when I fall over on the couch. Happens way too often.
I mean, it could be worse.
It's better than falling on the floor, I guess.
Yeah, that hurts. Real bad, actually.
Okay. Well, I mainly just wanted to get you back to bed.
Okay. I can do that. And he stands up, gives you like a little ruffle between your horns, and then a little pat. Good night, kiddo.
Good night, Dad.
And he just kind of like half asleep walks to where his room is.
She'll just kind of shake her head and head to her room. And I think before before
So giddy.
because I want to do something real like cheeky. So she's gonna reach for her fox. And she'll just very quietly say, before she goes to bed, she'll say, I'm slipping into your dreams tonight. And trust me, this one you won't want to wake up from. That's it.
He doesn't reply. And the reason being, he's in a cell.
Uh-huh.
He's not allowed to have his fox or his cat
Damn
in
it.
the cell.
Fudge. Do I get that or no?
Roll me Arcana.
Okay. That is 18.
With an 18, you do get the sense that he cannot respond to the fox and the cat messages while he is in that room.
Okay. Well, and she'll cast Ascending and say the same thing.
And when he immediately responds, I look forward to it. I know this will not disappoint.
And she'll just smirk. And pass out.
And with that, we're going to pan over to Professor Friedrich. How are you ending your day?
Probably much like it began, a little bit disoriented, and probably going to bed as soon as he gets back, which would be wallflower for a short amount of time, but probably head straight to bed and just sort of bid Calandra a good night. And hope to see you in the tavern tomorrow evening.
I'll make sure to be here.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good night, dearest.
Good night. Sleep tightly. I'm sorry. Have a good evening.
She giggles a little bit at that. And you are able to make your way to your room and pass out. All three of you are able to press that long rest button and get a good night's sleep. And you technically have 2 days until you are sent out on your mission. I know today we'd like to play and then whatever you would like to do the next day. So think about kind of what you want to get done before we all leave. But you are able to wake up. This is going to be yesterday was a work day. Today is not. So that loud alarm bell does not wake you up in the morning in order to get you to, your stations and get you to breakfast. So you are able to kind of mosey around until later this evening if you wanted to go into the tavern. But there's anything specific you wanted to do during the day, let me know. We're going to start with Ruby.
Ruby will need to restock on a couple of supplies, primarily arrows. And she also wants to go back to the stable because she's sus of Beatrice.
Alrighty, so you're able to get some arrows, however many you need. We're going to say that you get 2 for a button, 2 arrows for a button. So whatever you need there. And then after you get your materials that you need, is there anything else you need other than arrows?
I don't think so. She found a few potions and the bag of holding, and the armor. So I think she's feeling like she just hit the jackpot.
Alrighty. So then you're able to head to the stables, and Beatrice is still there. When you walk in, she does stick her head towards the door because she's too short to see over the stable wall. She's kind of got her head like between and just watching as soon as you walk in.
Good morning. No words again. I suspect that you will speak one day. There's too much knowing behind those eyes. Ah.
And she gives you a bleat.
I'll figure it out. Huh? All right. Okay, off to meet my new friends that are not goats, who can actually dialogue. All right, bye.
And she gives you a little bleat.
She'll kind of mosey around looking for Friedrich and Velphie.
And just real quick, did you want to stop by Kara's?
I think she's kind of avoiding it right now.
All right, avoiding Kara. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to pan over to Professor Friedrich. What are you doing this morning? Is there anything you'd like to do before you head to the tavern?
Without the alarm going off, Friedrich would definitely sleep in. He'd probably get up at a late, 7 a.m. and then go. It's a day off. Honestly, I think he might go check on Beatrice. But I don't know if the times would align that anyone would be there. He'd probably go as soon as he woke up.
Okay, so 7 a.m. What time would Ruby have gone?
She would have probably been there pretty early too. Like she's a very early riser.
All right, so I'm going to say you two kind of meet. Like you see Ruby outside of Beatrice's stall talking to Beatrice as you come to talk to your goat.
Good morning, new friend. Have you met Beatrice?
We have become acquainted. How do you know Beatrice?
Beatrice is one of my oldest friends. And when you get to be my age, I don't know what age you are, but when you get to be my age, you don't have many of those left. So we're just sort of like 2 old bags of bones. We get along very well.
Oh, I'm learning so much. It's barely past sunrise. I thought maybe there was something suspect of Beatrice, but it turns out she's just a goat. Oh, all right. And I'm also sorry. It seems as if most of your friends are dead.
Yes. Well, yes. Yes. It happens to all of us eventually. Beatrice is definitely special. She's very friendly. Loves a cup of tea, believe it or not. A little bit hotter than I like mine. Still honey. I think honey's okay for goats. No complaints or health issues so far. No, she's great to talk to, even if she doesn't always talk back, but she can when she wants to.
I knew it, you little sneak. And she gets down at like Beatrice's level. I had you figured out. I knew that you could talk. I knew that there was a tongue that could give voice to words. Why would you not speak to me? I was friendly. I gave you a doll. We kept each other company.
She starts bleeding a little bit more.
Well, she certainly seems to like you. So
Oh,
that's a good thing.
oh, I wasn't worried if she liked me. I just didn't want her to trick me.
I don't think she would. She's rather upfront with her intentions.
A very admirable quality. I
Yes.
apologize, Beatrice.
As far as I know, that means no problem at all. She's done that to me many times when I don't know. She's very forgiving. She's very understanding. She's very sturdy, reliable. She's great. Do you have an animal companion or anything?
No, I borrow animal companions.
That's understandable. Yeah, well, I mean, you're of course I don't own Beatrice, she's my friend, but you're of course welcome to come chat with her whenever you want, and you said you gave her a doll, and she loves receiving gifts. So, yeah.
Is this part of your morning ritual to rise and meet Beatrice?
On days I don't have to immediately start working, I like to check in on her. I used to see her a lot more frequently than I have the past few weeks, and she's really gotten us out of a few very tight squeezes. So I just like to come check in, and there's a lot of people who aren't up as early as I am, or in my opinion, as late as this. So I just come and talk to her, and sometimes she talks back.
It's a very kind act.
I enjoyed talking to her more than I do most people. Not all people, but most.
Very interesting that you would choose to join a commune around so many people that make you be around other people.
Well, choose is a funny word. It was the best option at the time. Still seems to be.
A little breadcrumb for the loaf of a story I will hear later, I suppose, when we find your companion.
Well, you've been out there. It's not exactly a warm, sunny day every day, and Sydonea is in a bit of a rough patch right now, so it's better than, not all would agree, but it's better than sleeping out in the elements.
I will agree. Is Velphie an early riser?
Rarely, as far as I know. And I think even her definition of early would probably contrast with mine. So, no, we'll probably see her in a few hours, I imagine. She was probably gallivanting with her friend Aunt here, who's really he's come to impress me quite a bit, with how capable but also open-minded he is.
A strong opinion for someone that bears the title felon. I appreciate your candor.
He wears it like a badge of honor almost. It's rather odd.
And do you have badges?
I have a few degrees, but they're back in Sydonea. I'm not sure what state they might be in.
But they
But
are yours. You do not have
I
to carry them with you.
no, I earned them, and I feel like I sort of live them in a way. It's usually when you have to tell someone about yourself, that means it's not obvious, which means it might not be true. I like, you know, I want people to know I'm smart because of how I act, and it sometimes works.
I see you and Beatrice share a commonality.
Yes, I think.
Wisdom.
Oh, yes, that was it. Yes. Yes.
Did you think I was calling you a goat?
Well, our hair color is rather similar. She has a lot more than I do. We're both rather old. We like tea. There's more than a passing resemblance.
If you say so. I am hungry. Would you like to eat in my company together?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And I will go up to Beatrice and just give a little head nuzzle. And I don't. I might have. I don't want to poison her, but I might have some cheese left over from Minaria's that's about a few days old. But cheeses tend to, let's say it's got a strong rind on it. Uh, and I'll offer that to Beatrice.
And she gobbles it up and then just looks at you.
Have a good day, Beatrice. We'll be riding out again in the next few days or so. Let me know if anyone doesn't treat you the best here. And I assume we'll be seeing you soon.
She gives you a little nod and then does her little 3 circles. And then plops down and goes back to sleep.
Well, you mentioned breakfast. Do you enjoy tea?
What type of tea? I do not enjoy mugwort.
I don't know if I've had mugwort, but I'll avoid it now. Well, or rather, what do you not like about it?
Tastes of dirt. The dirt trapped under fingernails.
No, I won't ask that. Yes, that sounds like a terrible taste for a cup of tea. No, I don't think I would like mugwort, but I do prefer other kinds.
I will try the other kinds that you speak of.
Yes, like a good stiff sort of malty black tea. I do like. Not too hot though. You have to let it cool a little bit. I've seen people get burned from tea, and I never drink it until it's room temperature. I just sort of smell it until then.
And Ruby kind of is like she's very much paying attention to this conversation, almost as if no one has talked to her about a very specific interest in a long time.
Do I need to roll to pick up on that, or is it immediately obvious?
It's almost like you can just see like she's very intent on drinking in your words to where she's processing it in a way that feels like she's internalizing. And you can kind of see the cogs moving.
Okay. Unfortunately, Friedrich would eat this up because most people don't take his interest this seriously. So I would go on as I guess we're walking and talking about all the different kinds of tea I've had. I'd probably mention Kalandra, who makes great teas. I don't know if you've met her. She is Antier's mother, and she's a very skilled. I don't know what you call someone who makes tea. A teaist.
I have lost track of who I've met. I did not think I made a good first impression with many of the people here, so it's better to make a second good impression if they decide to re-engage, but shared interests are good.
Yes, yeah. Normally, I've always been very, very big on first impressions, but the world is very different now, and it's. I think second chances and impressions are important to afford people.
Perhaps we could try some tea, and that could be you. Yeah, you could go see her by yourself, and I could have some tea. I do not mind spending time alone. I don't mean to glom on. I just thought if I'm having tea and you're having tea together, it's like good.
Good is a good way to describe it. Yes, well, tea actually tastes better when you drink it with someone else. It's a proven fact. You can trust
No
me.
one has ever
I'm a
shared
doctor.
that with me.
Yeah, sometimes it falls to opinion, but I think it's a proven fact. So I will see if I can secure us some, and then we'll see what type of bread they have this morning. It tends to be pretty much all they have is just bread.
And we will drink them and eat it together. Haha.
Huzzah! Okay, I like that. And I'm assuming we're sort of walking and talking here.
Yes.
All right, and as you all are making your way to the main area of the tavern, we're going to pan over to Velphie real quick. What time is Velphie waking up today?
Velphie, it is probably about maybe 11 noonish. By the time she wakes up, since there is no alarm, she is sleeping in. And she'll wake up very slowly, stretch, and she'll get ready, get dressed. I imagine Karis is not a late riser either. Yeah. So she'll walk out into the living area and see if he's there. If he's not, then she'll just continue out.
Alrighty. He is not in the living area this morning. You get the sense he's probably already left to go do something, deal with something, talk to Seapair. It seems very much in time you've been here, he is always needed somewhere. Like he's pretty high up there. He's typically either gone or talking to Seapairs about something. So he is not in the living area.
Okay. So then she will make her way over to the communal area and see if there's anything to eat, anyone that she sees.
Alrighty. And with it being 11, as you're making your way to the tavern, we're going to pan real quickly back over to Professor Friedrich and Ruby. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning for you both right now. Where are you getting your tea and like what are you choosing for breakfast? There's two options. You can either get like a bread roll or you can get a bagel.
Bread or bread?
What kind of bread? Well, do they have tea at like the main line, or we have to get that somewhere else?
You have to get that somewhere else. They are very much like whatever's easiest here. So that would be like a water pretty much. So very not fancy, but something that's filling that you can grab and you have the choice of. If you wanted tea, you do know a very well known hookup.
The tea plug of Limbo.
You have a tea plug.
Is that her street name, Tea Plug?
No.
Should be.
Aunt here knows about street names, being a felon and all that.
Yeah. But no, you both do arrive to the tavern when it's pretty crowded. People are getting their breakfast and things like that, and kind of sitting around. So you all can get your breakfast, find a place to sit. And what are you doing?
would say after we get our things, and Friedrich would stick with Ruby and this we'd sit together there, and then I'd probably look around and see if I see Calandra anywhere.
Roll me a perception check.
4.
With a 4, you do not see her, but she doesn't see you with a natural 1.
So many people this morning. I guess everyone's taking the day off to relax. Calandra is usually around here somewhere. Maybe I can walk around. She's my tea source. She's very good at what she does. I have a little bit of tea on me, but it's a little spicy, I will say. Maybe we can enjoy that on the road. It's helpful out there.
You are looking for Calandra?
Yes. Let me try this. I'll explain to Ruby what she looks like, and then say, I don't see her, but my eyes are not what they used to be.
I can help. All right. I'll
Go
take a
for
look
it.
around.
Roll perception.
Oh, natural 20. So 22.
With a 22, she had her back turned to Professor Friedrich, and she is quite literally at his 6. So right in his blind spot. But you do see her. She's a little old lady. She's kind of got olive skinned, curly, whitish gray hair. Very much has a mother sense about her. Like this is mama type situation. But you do see her.
Ruby just stands up just a little bit, and then her eyes flash that little bit of red color. Whew. It wasn't too distracting. She's right there. I see her. The hair. Small. Target is secured.
Very, very formal. Do I catch the red flash? Is it perceivable, or would I have to be looking for it?
That is up to you.
You probably have to be like looking directly at her eyes. It's very subtle.
Okay.
Almost like a reflection of red.
I imagine having just rolled a 4, I probably wouldn't have caught it. But I will turn around and see Calandra. But oh yes, that's her. I can introduce you to her, and if you like tea, I'm sure she'll continue to hook you up, as some of my younger students say.
Hook me up to
future tea drinkings, a continued source of tea.
To form a habit or become a tea addict or whatever comes of drinking tea.
I'd say that, I guess, depends on your proclivities towards addiction, which is not a great breakfast topic, but I'm happy to discuss it if it's something you would like to discuss.
No. And she looks very awkward at feeling as if she chose the wrong word.
I would say Frieda would probably feel very awkward as well, as in he just offered to talk about addiction over bagels and tea. And I just met this person. I'll go introduce you to her if you wanna. She's right over here.
Of course. Normal is a state of mind.
Yes, it is. I'll tap Calandra on the shoulder. Say good morning.
Oh, good morning, dearest.
How are you this fine, whatever day of the week it is? It's difficult when you can't really see the sky.
I don't know what day it is either.
It is tea day. Have you met my newest friend, Ruby? But I'll let her introduce herself.
I'm Ruby. I wanted to try the tea that is not an addiction.
Well, I mean, some people can get a tea addiction. It's nice to have every day. It's really good. And she reaches her hand out for yours.
She'll slowly put her hand out.
And she takes it and she gives it like this like little like motherly little clap and like gives your hand a tap. It's good to meet you, dearie.
Oh, good to meet you too for the first time. Yes.
We're trying tea today. She turns to Professor Friedrich. I've had a chance to grow some, believe it or not, and I think I'm doing okay. And she pulls out some little tea bags from her bag, and she hands you both two.
Why, thank you. What
It's so small.
Tea is a fascinating thing.
It is. And I'm just like nodding beside her like a fanboy.
Out of curiosity, does it look like Ruby has ever had a tea bag before?
Not a bag, no. This is like very fancy to her.
Calandra's rolling shit. So she does not seem to pick up on that. Well, I hope you enjoy. Tea always tastes better when you're having it with someone.
I've heard that's a fact. Not an opinion, a fact.
It is a fact. I don't have any scones to give you, unfortunately, but that should be good. And she turns to Ruby. Is Ginger okay?
Ginger. Yes, if there were a choice, that is what I would choose for sure. Ginger.
Good. I'm glad I gave you the right one.
Your hand is very warm.
Oh, thank you. And then she gives you another little tap.
How does it work? Like holds up the bag.
Oh, okay. So you grab your mug of choice and then you get some hot water and you put your tea bags into the cup. If you want it to taste a little stronger, you add the extra tea bag to that, and that way you get a bolder taste in it. I personally like to have mine with two because I really like to get the full taste of everything. And then you just wait. For this one, I believe it's 5 minutes. But don't drink it too hot. That burns.
I understand. Does tea come at a price? Do I need to hand over some amount?
She shakes her hands. No, don't worry about this one.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, dearie.
I can see why you prefer to get your tea from her, Professor Friedrich. She's very kind.
She is. She's very kind, very understanding, very knowledgeable about teas. And yeah, you won't get addicted, I don't think. I'm not addicted. I just get so excited to have tea when I wake up that I'm shaking. But it's just excitement.
That seems as if it is more of an opinion than a fact, Professor. But it smells spicy and earthy and sweet. Can we try it now?
Absolutely. I'm sure we can get some hot water somewhere. I, of all my abilities, cannot heat water without causing mass destruction in the area. So I'm sure that they could help us maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there's hot water somewhere.
I'm looking to see if Calandra can help you with that. I don't know if she can.
I have Fireball and Wall of Fire.
Great for tea.
I don't think she can. Nope, she cannot.
Well, I'm sure that where they have to have an oven to make all of this bread, so I'm sure that they could get us some hot water. I'll go find some.
And if not, I am very proficient with flames and making all sorts of campfires.
Oh, well then I'll just find us some water somewhere.
And I shall start a pyre on which to roast our tea.
Yes. And Friedrich, I will say, I guess I'll say it out loud because he really wears emotions on his face. This is a bit of a, it's an innocent cup of tea, but I want to see what you're capable of, sort of thing.
Oh.
I will say that this is a kind of like a dining hall. And you are more than welcome to do it, but Ruby knows that no one has set a flame on or in this area. But they can if they want to.
She is going to actually, once water is secured, offer to go back to the stable so that way Beatrice may have a cup too.
That's an excellent idea. Yes.
People think that you lack decorum if you just start fires indoors. They don't like it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I had a kettle I would use, but they don't seem as well equipped here. But it's a good idea to think of Beatrice. I'm sure she would love a cup.
So head to the stables.
Yeah. I didn't ask what room we're in. I said I cast Fireball.
Alrighty. And y'all are able to head to the stables. And how are you making your tea?
She's just gonna make a tiny little like triangle campfire, and you hear her kind of muttering a little song as she builds up the stack of wood, and then begins to like strike a match to create fire out of this kindling. It's small but contained. Everyone should be safe. There's no reason to worry. And you see her like shake her head a little bit.
And you do hear, as you're making that fire.
Ruby hears that, right?
Yeah, you do not.
Is this appropriate for the tea?
I think it
Professor?
will work perfectly. Yes, and that's quite a survival skill you have. Do you like spending time outside of Limbo?
It is it is what makes me feel useful and helpful and needed. That I like.
It is good to feel like you're contributing in some way. You know, you've contributed to make my morning better, and I think Velphie and I are contributing here to this nice little society they have going. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pry much. I just like to get to know people.
Not a lot of people ask questions. It's okay.
I
Sometimes
often
it's
ask
fun
too
to
many.
answer. Does Ruby want tea? No. Does Velphie want tea?
Perhaps. What time is it? Do I have my pocket watch on me?
When you look at your pocket watch, it is about 8:45 in the morning. About 8:45, 9. You can go wake her up if you would like.
She tends to sleep in, and she likes to rise at the crack of noon. But we could go wake her. I don't have a way of communicating with her from here. I think she has a way of doing that, but I've never been skilled in that area of magic.
I don't like to take away the things that people like. It makes sense to let her sleep until noon. I'm just excited to not have to go out alone again.
That would be terrible. I don't know what I would have done if I had to be out there alone. If I was not with Velphie this past time, I wouldn't be sitting here with you this morning.
That is really good to hear that you rely so much on each other.
Yeah, and it's interesting because at first we were just, she was a student of mine, and then we were sort of coworkers, I guess. So there's always sort of a reason to, I guess, help your coworker because you're on the clock or whatever they say. But now it just seems to be because we've, grown to be friends, and she's a lot smarter than I am now, and it's sort of like this full circle of the student becoming the master and all these things. Yeah, she's great.
Your words are steeped like the tea. There's so much flavor and complexity to relationships. I am excited to see more of what you two act like together. What it is to be friends and colleagues and companions.
Yeah, did you who is your closest friend here?
Beltov? And you see that this is a weird question for her. The word comes out with such question behind it.
Like she's not even sure. Beltov? Beltov, he is. I admit we didn't meet on the best of terms, but he seems to be okay.
He'll be okay, he said.
Yes, and it was a very different. It feels like it was a very different world a few months ago when we first met. So things change.
And on that note, y'all enjoy your tea, which it glimmers like gold and tastes like lavender and ginger. And you will have a discussion for a little while, and it ends up being closer to 11, and we're going to pan over to Velphie. Velphie, you arrive in the tavern, and not many people are here. Everybody's had their breakfast. Breakfast is kind of over. It's kind of like 10:30 is the mark. But you do see... I'm just joking. That's
McDonald's hours here or something.
But there isn't much breakfast. There's a few things left out, but Mech and Carlyle know that Velphie doesn't wake up very early. So you do know that they leave you some breakfast in like one of the little oven areas to make sure that you are fed. And you're able to get your breakfast. And you do see Calandra in the main area as you walk in.
Okay, so she would head over. She would head over to the counter. I assume they would keep it behind there. She'll pick up her food. Thank Carlel and Mech for keeping it aside for her. And then she'll sit down right in front of Calandra.
Hey, darling. Professor Friedrich and a woman named Ruby just went to the stables. Well, they went about 2 hours ago, but I haven't seen them come back. They took some tea out there.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I will see if I can find them after breakfast.
Yes, I'm very happy. And she kind of like grabs your hands. Very happy if you would like to sit with me for just a moment.
Of course. This is, I feel like we haven't really had a chance to talk since everything. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've really enjoyed being here. It's a little bit of a different world here. It's almost like things shine a little brighter, and I've really enjoyed it here.
Good. Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's happier here. Well, smile more.
Yeah, people do smile more, and I mean, people seem nervous and scared, but people don't seem as scared as they were there.
Yeah, well, I think the fear there was intentional.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Well, I've been kind of going over everything that's happened recently, you know, I was thinking about this time that we were transported to another realm. I don't know if
Oh.
anyone's mentioned shifting that happens.
I believe Antir has mentioned it.
Yeah, we were transported to a place very vibrant colors, sweet scents, beautiful flowers, and hot springs. I had explained what those were to Antir. He didn't know what they were. But I believe we were in what I think is to be understood as the Court of Summer in the Feywild, where you had mentioned that you've been.
Oh.
I was just curious if you've been out there somehow.
Well, it's been a very long time, but I am from there.
You're from the Fey realm. How did you get here?
I was sent here.
For a particular reason, which would be...
Vladislavia wanted me to go home.
Slavia. Oh, go home. Okay, so you are originally from here then?
Yes.
Seems like you've led a very interesting life.
Yeah.
One that you look fondly over, I assume?
I do.
Good. Well, I guess I did mean to pry, but thank you for sharing.
I'll share anything you'd like.
Perfect. Because I just remembered. Oh, no, wait. I still have some. Never mind. I was going to see if maybe you had some extra fire breath tea, but I just remembered that I still have some. I think it's going to come in handy.
Do you need any other ones?
No, I think I still have one of everything from when you
Okay.
gave it to me last time, and that canteen as well.
Okay. Good.
So,
And what did it look like when you went? Is it still pretty and bright and warm?
yeah. It's very, very bright, sweet. I always feel much better when I'm there than here, of course, you know. It's a stark difference. The hot springs are really nice. People were nice. The Fae, I guess, are nice.
Some
I
of
had the
them
pleasure. Yeah. I did have the pleasure of meeting an archfey.
are. Oh?
And she kind of glances to her hand that has the bond around it.
She immediately grabs at it and looks at it. Velphie, you did not do that, did you?
I did.
And she kind of like is looking over your hand. What did you promise?
A favor for whenever she needs it.
Do you know what archfey this is?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anaria.
Spring Court. I haven't heard anything negative about the Spring Court, but Be careful when dealing with Fae.
Yes, I've heard there's power in a name. So I came up with an alias.
Good, good.
But this I felt was necessary to help on Tyr.
You see tears well in her eyes. That burden shouldn't fall to you.
It's no burden. I'd do anything for that man, really. I want him to know what it's like.
She gives your hand like a tight motherly squeeze and then just kind of kisses the tops of your fingertips. Like the... You're a good woman, Velphie.
Well, all one can do is try, you know?
If there's anything that I can do to help, I don't want you to feel like you have to take on deals, and the Fae can be dangerous. As well as some of them are wonderful, some of them can be terrifying.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I don't plan on making any more deals. I don't have a ton of space. She holds up, she has her tattoo on one arm and the bond on the other.
She giggles at that a little bit.
I'll keep you informed. We have a majority of what we need. So just a couple things that might be a bit harder to find. But we're getting there.
Just be careful, darling.
I will. Always careful.
And I have to head out, but again, I believe Professor Friedrich and y'all's new friend is in the stables. They've been out there a while. They may need more tea, and you might want to try some too. And she gives you 6 tea bags.
Ooh, okay, 6 tea bags. Well, thank you. Yeah, I will go find them. And you have a great rest of your day.
And she has stood up and kind of goes over to your side of the table, gives you a quick like motherly kiss on your like the side of your head, and then like gently like, you know, the mom like scratch the head, and then goes off to take care of something.
Okay, so at this point, I would say during that conversation, she's been eating her bagel and whatnot. So she'll drop off her dishes at the drop-off section, I guess, and and with her tea bags in hand, she will make her way over to the stables.
Velphie, you are able to make it to the stable where you currently see the professor and Ruby sitting next to a little fire made in the stables next to Beatrice's stall.
What is going on in here?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Afternoon. I am good. I had my bagel, and Kalandra was very kind and gifted me some tea. So she told me that you and Ruby had made your way over to the stables, so I figured I would come say hello and see what you guys were getting into.
Mostly tea.
More
It's been
tea.
mostly tea. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, do you still have any hot water? I'd like to join.
Ruby is proficient at making water hot. It was her idea to come out here. I think they frown upon open fires in the mess hall for some reason, but it works well here.
Okay, perfect. And Velphie will walk over and sit down, and I will say she brought her own cup. I will, just so she's not like.
Nope. Just gotta pour boiling water into your mouth, stick a tea
Into your
bag in, and swish it around.
Open wide. It's how you get the real tea experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainlining tea.
Yeah, and she will make herself a little cup of tea.
And yours is the same kind that they had as well. And she gave you the 6 extra bags for this one. It is the lavender and ginger tea that has like this golden shimmer in it. So it glitters. Very similar to like a Feywild glitter.
Okay. Well, so how has, I imagine, Professor been up for a while?
Yes, I actually ran into Ruby on my way out to the stables here. So we've just been sort of, chatting it up a little bit, chewing the cud, as they say, and again, they didn't have hot water in the mess hall, so we made our way out here. But I kind of like this. This could become sort of like a thing we do.
Yeah. Stable tea.
Stable tea. That has a really nice, unique ring to it. I like it. No one else does it, I'm sure. It can be the thing that we do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, friends always have their little things that they do together, and this could be ours.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we just keep doing it, then it becomes, that's how anything starts, is you just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it.
The professor had many different types of things to say about you this morning, Velphie. They were all kind. They were not sinister.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
It does seem like the two of you have been traveling together for some time. And then you came here?
Yeah. We've gone through a lot together. It's been several months that I think the professor and I have really spent a lot of time together. But yeah, we came here together. He didn't really know what was going on, but I did, so.
You were knowledgeable of something secret he didn't know?
Yes, I did tell him, kind of, before it happened. Right?
Yeah, it was definitely before it actually happened. So it was a wild time. Ruby, I'm sure you've heard, I would think, of the attack in Sydonea, I guess about a month or so back. That sort of threw the city into its current state of chaos, as far as we know.
DM, what information or details would Ruby actually have absorbed?
You would know that you were leaving kind of like right as soon as this attack was happening. But you do know that Beltov and Tilly were sent off to destroy the crystal that pretty much powered the sphere around Sydonea in order to free the souls that were locked in it. You know Tilly died, and you know that there was something catastrophic that happened afterwards that wasn't planned for, but you don't know exactly what it was.
The details are fleeting at points, but chaos is a good word for what I've heard.
I would agree.
Were you
Yeah.
two there?
Yeah. We were there when it happened. I guess we played a part, rather. Or I played a part.
I'd say we both did.
What was it like?
The attack?
When it broke all of those fragments and pieces of people that linger or were stuck. What was it like?
Velphie will look to the professor.
It was. I don't use this word lightly. It was terrifying. It was unlike anything I had seen, and I hope to never see anything like it. We had separated in the midst of it all, and I made my way through the city, and it was terrifying. I was born and raised there. It's all I've ever really known, and it was just sort of crumbling before my eyes. It's an image that has stuck with me, definitely. The sphere around the city always kept us safe, we thought, and then when it shattered, that was the intention, but it was still a terrifying sight.
You are both from that region?
Yeah. You're both
But
from
you are-
Sydonea.
You're not loyal?
No.
Definitely not. And it wouldn't really matter much now, even if we tried to be, because we attacked order members, which we used to be. But I feel like once you start attacking them, then you sort of set your allegiance in stone at that point.
It's an interesting choice to live a different life than the one you were raised to live. Both seem as if it's hard to talk about. I'm sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry for. No, I mean, I feel like everyone has the right to know what happened. And we were there.
Yeah, and choice is an interesting word because, I mean, now I know a lot about what was going on that we didn't know at the time, but I can't say I would have chosen to sacrifice my home. I think it just sort of happened and we reacted to it.
And Velphie kind of gets this look, like this conflicted, kind of like shamed look a little bit as the professor says that. Yeah.
Is it all right if I roll insight to see how, I guess, like, bothered Velphie is?
Yeah. Go for it.
Can I do it too?
Yeah.
Velphie, are you trying to hide it?
I would say yeah.
Roll me a stealth check. Or a deception. Well, you're trying to hide it. You're not necessarily lying. So roll me a stealth check.
Okay.
And then you two roll me insight.
I got a
Okay.
22.
I got a 22, but my 20 is au naturel.
Well, this is crazy. because I got a 22.
Triple rollies.
Alrighty. However, it's a meets it, beats it. You were trying to hide it. They were trying to see it.
Mm-hmm.
They met it.
Mm-hmm.
So you two do see it.
Of course, lots of things happened all at once, very quickly. And you don't exactly have a lot of time to think, to sleep on things like I normally like to do. You know, it's difficult to make the right decision with imperfect information, and I think a lot of people did the best they could in the situation and did very well, might I say. I mean, we ended up here. Some other people from the city ended up here as well. Things could be a lot worse.
Who else has come by? Anyone we know?
Well, we know Kalandra and Golmac and
I guess I meant like if anyone has arrived from Sydonea.
Friedrich would definitely look a little bit uncomfortable and probably be like, there was another woman that arrived that Ontier knows, apparently. Kalandra doesn't seem too fond of her. I'd never seen her before. But if Kalandra doesn't like you, that says something. So I'm inclined to agree with her.
Can Velphie put together who that is?
Roll me history.
Okay.
And also Axe and Z. But I think were they there at the same time as Golmac and them, or they got there later?
They got there later.
Okay, they got there later.
16.
You remember Kalandra not liking Antier's birth mother.
Okay. So you see Velphie let out a visible breath, a sigh. Whew. This just got interesting. But, well, I guess no one else has shown up from Sydonea that you've heard of?
Axe and Z. I don't know who else made it out. I haven't been able to contact anyone.
Well, at least we know it's possible for people to get here on their own.
Yeah, I was able to communicate a little bit with the kids. I don't know if anyone else made it. I haven't heard from Sammy. Was that his name? Or Timville, who made all of our drinks.
Timville is alive. He is underground.
In the underground?
In the underground.
It's a raunchy place. I say that as I look towards Ruby. It's so many interesting characters down there. A very dark underbelly. Of Sydonea. My apologies. We got attacked twice down there. It felt dangerous. It was a little bit exciting, but also terrifying.
It seems to me that you like the blend of those two things.
If you could imagine, the life of a professor is not exactly one full of adventure, so it's a nice change of pace. Though I'm certainly getting my fill of it these days.
So it fell, and there were people that you care about and still do not know about, but the two of you are here. For a purpose, maybe?
Well, I guess that purpose is to stop what's happening. Stop those who intend to harm us. The High Table. This entity.
It's not a quiz. I was just a little bit curious. Everyone here, you know the serum you have to take and the questions that they ask. Everyone has to come with some sort of intent, and I was just wanting to be curious without getting out anything that seemed uncomfortable.
No, you're perfectly fine. I mean, if we're to be working together, consider me an open book.
Likewise.
Good to know.
This tea is delicious.
Yeah. I want to go home one day. So I feel like that's what we need to do. If we can just clear all this up, and then Sydonea will be back to how it was, maybe even better.
Better.
Would you all like to play a game? It is something that helps you see what you have in common or how other people's wriggly brains work. No, just a normal brain, how they work.
Wiggly brains are fine too.
As are games, yes.
It's one I used to play with my sisters. It's just word association. You start, one person says a word, and the other two people just say what that word makes them think of.
Okay. So there's no right or wrong answers then?
Right? You just learn how the other person thinks and how words meander through their minds and out their mouths.
Sounds fun. Always down for fun.
Who goes first?
I will go first. So the word, and you can say whatever word comes to mind, even if it's dirty. The word is wart.
Hog.
Gross.
Who goes next?
Velphie, do you think warthogs are gross, or was that your answer? Was that
Gross.
an exclamation or a response?
Gross was my answer, Professor. I mean,
I
I don't want a
see.
wart. Do you want a wart?
I don't know if anyone wants warts. Okay, fair enough. I'm learning how this works. Okay, I will go next. Midnight.
Calm.
Stars.
This is fun. Who's next?
Well, I guess it would be me. Let's see, a word. Campfire.
Tea.
Hunt.
Do I say a word too?
You do not have to. You said the word campfire.
campfire did come to mind when I said campfire, so
It's working.
it's working.
That would make sense.
Bloodstain.
Bloodstain. Ooh, bloodstain. Can
I
we
say
say
two
two
words?
words? Jinx, you owe me a tea.
She'll hand over a bag of tea.
Not really. There's no debts among
Please
friends.
take it. You love tea more than I do.
I'm sure it
I
will
love
come in
tea,
handy.
but take your tea.
What are
But
your
yes.
2 words? Or grouping of words, a phrase even.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was gonna say new shirt.
I was actually thinking ruined clothing. Yes.
Well then.
There's a lot of words. It's difficult to pick just one when you're trying to, but it's easy to say too much.
It's very telling, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? How about we go with the word alone?
Sad.
Forever.
I think Friedrich would show a visible, like, almost like a tinge of regret, like, uh-oh, like I killed the vibe. Like, this was fun, and then it's like, oh no. Very loud, like, tea slurp.
I guess Velphie could pick up on that.
It'd be pretty obvious, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So, sensing the professor's mood, she'll just very quickly, Ginger.
I got it. Tea. That's the tea.
Bread.
There's gingerbread.
Not here, apparently, but there does exist it somewhere in the world. I think. Does it? I didn't just bring an anachronism in, did I?
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
It's nice to sit and play. It's nice to talk. The tea helps. You're right, it's better with people. I can see why this would not be the same alone.
Yeah, like I said, I don't like to drink it too hot. It's very dangerous. So it's good to have someone to talk to while you wait for it to cool.
Yeah. I just like people.
Seems like you two have very positive ways of existing.
Well, when we live in the world we do, what is one to do other than try to find the bright side?
I would agree. And I think we're very complimentary. Not that we compliment each other a lot. I think we do. But we're like puzzle pieces almost. We're not the same, but we fit together.
It's very lucky.
Well, I mean, we're going to be working together. Maybe our puzzle just grew in size.
We love bigger puzzles. No, we don't.
I do.
But guess.
Is it surprising?
Well, it's just because if I recall correctly, I think I remember you saying on our way back that we should find someone who's better at puzzles. So
Okay, you may have caught me. I like puzzles that I'm good at. I don't like things that I'm not good at.
and that is totally fair.
Speaking of which, I did talk to Professor Friedrich last night. I think, based on what I've heard, we're all venturing forth, perhaps, on a mission in a day or so to find that beastie you saw.
Yeah. It is a beast. For sure.
Yeah, in your travels, work, Ruby, whatever you would call what you do here for Limbo, have you ever been to Esarora?
That is a very good question. Where did I just go?
You have been on the mountains around Esarora, but never into it. So you've seen it from like a very far off distance, from very high up, but never been into it.
Got it. Is that close to where I saw the shimmering lights?
So the shimmering lights, you are up in the north, and to the southeast, almost like across the whole mountain valley and then a mountain again, as there's that circle of mountains that surrounds Esarora. It's on the other side of the mountain range. Like dancing on the, like, you know how sometimes when there's a bunch of lights you can see it like reflecting off the clouds?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it was from where you were.
Okay. I've not been to Esarora. That's not the direction I have normally done my missions in. But for the most part, I am contracted, I guess you could say. I work very willingly with them to go out, kill the monsters, and come back. Sometimes I scout. I look for the dead people or other little clues, and then I come back. So this will be very similar to my proficiencies and what I am good at, which I am very much in the same camp as you, Professor. Doing what you're good at. I like it. I like that. I like doing the stuff I'm good at.
That's fair. That's fair. Esarora is where we came from. I'm assuming it's where we'll be returning. I'm not sure what state it's currently in. It wasn't in a great state when we arrived. It's certainly not any better when we left. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a very interesting time.
But I'm feeling a lot better about it now that we've met, and you'll be coming with us, or we'll be going with you, however we spin it.
We'll be going. Yes.
That is true. We will be going. It will be. I'm feeling a lot better about all of it now.
Our odds are definitely better with more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Living people, always better.
Living people, well, not all of them are good.
That is a true statement. I would agree with. Not everyone alive is a good person. A little broad, but I would agree with it. I'm comfortable with the dead. It's sort of my area of expertise when it comes to magic or so.
Dead?
let's do one more round of the game. What if I said the word dead?
Alive.
Persistent.
Interesting. But yeah, I think everything we ran into out there was alive in some sense of the word. You run into the dead a lot in your work, Ruby?
I think that they are dead, but at the same time, it's not normal for someone just to talk and talk and talk if they're dead, but at the same time, what's normal anymore? I don't know. But you're an expert, right? You said you were an anatomy professor. Is there anatomy for the dead? What is it, an interest or an expertise?
Well, the dead were once living, and I'm assuming they have the same anatomy, but things can change. And I started. I feel like we just met, but I'm really opening up. This must be the tea. I don't know what's in this. I started as an anatomy professor, and I was really working to figure out what was going on in the world and why there was this blight that kept us sequestered in Sydonea, that we weren't able to venture out, and all these odd, terrible things would attack people when they left the safety of the city. And they always pitched it to us as it was some type of virus outbreak. It was a natural disaster. So I thought, well, natural medicine then is how you study it and learn to combat it. And in the past month or so, I've learned that I don't think it's natural at all, and I certainly don't think it's a virus. And I started getting an inkling of this before everything started escalating like it has, and I began to study necromantic magic because I guess a bit of a fight fire with fire technique, and it so far has served me well. But as you said, what is really normal now? A lot of the things that I thought were fact, things that I'd studied, have been completely flipped on their head.
Necromancy. How is that related to natural medicine or anatomy? I'm just very curious.
Well, it's not. It's sort of antithetical to it a little bit, Medicine is meant to heal. You don't really give medicine to the dead, but necromancy tends to sort of swing the other way, so to speak, and relies very much on the dead and the power that comes with that. So there's symbolism in there somewhere.
Is it the dead bodies, the corpses, and the puppets, that kind of thing? Or are you talking about the things that you can't touch that can do things even though there's no body? The souls.
No, I'm less familiar with that, though I am trying to learn more about it. The physical aspect of it. Yeah, once life leaves a corpse, there's much you can still do with it from a magical standpoint. The nature of the soul is still a bit foreign to me, but an interesting topic. Is that where your interests lie?
Yes. They just won't leave me alone. But I have it under control. Even Kara couldn't figure out how to make it stop, but it's all working very well. They each get their own place. But sometimes it gets loud.
Are you saying you can talk to souls?
No, sometimes they talk to me, and they just linger. Especially if I'm the one that has to kill them. But they always want to help. They always want to be good at the end. Isn't that what we all want? To be of use, right? And that's what I want to give them. And she takes out her little key ring and swings it. You just don't know why they're here, or if they're actually souls. But they come of use. But I'm afraid it's not necromancy. It might be spiritual or religious. I don't really know. It just happened. And I feel responsible for them, so doesn't feel right to let them go unused. And her voice is very up and down as she talks about this, almost as if she knows it sounds crazy as she's saying it, but knows it's just what's happening to her. It's very plain as it rattles out.
Have you always been able to hear them?
No, I used to be a little bit more sane, just a little bit. But with the voices that echo back and forth, sometimes it's hard to get a little grasp on your own voice, especially when I'm alone. That's why yesterday was a little hard coming back.
Yeah, I imagine it can be overwhelming to have a constant sound in your head distracting you.
But anytime I get to go out, they like to give me advice or help with certain things. Just today, while I was making the fire, one said to make it burn brighter, but then I told them that we couldn't do that. They help me survive, but sometimes if I lean on them too much, they begin to just fizzle away, like they're at peace. So, ups and downs, part of everyone's journey, right?
Yeah, everyone's got their ups and downs.
I know we've only recently met, so feel free to tell me I'm overstepping. How long have you been having this experience with speaking with them?
It wasn't long, about 4 months, and then I came here, and my life started over. So everyone who is here seems to want to contribute. In that way I fit in, but in others I don't. As you notice, we're the only ones out here.
Well, when it comes to a good campfire and a cup of tea, I always say don't cast your pearls before swine. Not everyone appreciates the good things like this. One more question, and then I promise I'll drop it if you prefer. The ones that speak to you, are they generally the same ones? Can you identify them, or is it different every time?
It's always just the ones that linger. I can't identify them, but putting them in the dolls, which I think look more approachable than bones, right? It helps. It helps. But I don't know them. I don't know them at all. I don't think they know me very much either. That's why it's just lonely.
The dolls are nice. You make them yourself?
Well, as of last night, this one, and she points to the newest one on her keychain. Actually, Beatrice helped me make this one.
She is multi-talented. That's interesting. And I agree the dolls are better than bones. Not all bones are bad. But the dolls are the dolls metatarsals. The dolls are they're much more, I don't know, it humanizes the soul a bit, I imagine.
I like to think so. And I think it reminds people of childhood and innocence. Until you say that you hear dead people and they come from the dolls. Hard to make friends when you lead with that. So I don't recommend it. But it was really great to hear whenever Professor Friedrich said death that Velphie you said alive. Because it seems like there might be, I don't know, some interest there from you. I'm glad you don't seem completely freaked out. The two of you are actually seem a lot more curious and normal about it than most.
Well, I guess we've seen a lot of death here recently. I don't want to say I've grown comfortable with it. But, you know, I do wish things are more alive. People.
I have found that 3 or 4 months ago, I would have found this to be a lot more odd than I do now. Now, the world has changed so much that you really can't get too comfortable with anything you think you know. And I find it to be even more frustrating to hold on to things you thought were true. And instead just expand your mind and be open to new possibilities. Like, I didn't know much about souls at all before. And now I've learned a bit about them, my own. I've seen what looked like thousands of them escaping. And I've heard that they scream. And these are things that I would have thought were very odd and unscientific. And now I think it would be more frustrating to try to make some sort of scientific sense of it. And instead just open up to possibilities I didn't think possible.
Yeah.
I can be a little verbose. You've probably picked that up in the past 24 hours.
It's part of your charm.
I do not mind. It is something that you have to share. Some people have words, some people have kind gestures, and other people have their own skills, like hearing dead people.
Can be a skill.
Is a
Particularly in
skill.
this day and age, yes.
They're quiet around you, though, Velphie. It's kind of nice.
Oh. Well, then feel free to hang around if you need a break.
I think it's because you're happy.
I am happy.
Didn't sound happy, but I'll believe you.
I'm happy.
See?
No, but there are things to be happy about. Many things.
And as you all continue this discussion, it does start to get later in the evening. How would you all like to close your day?
I like that we spent all day around a campfire drinking tea and
In
talking.
the stables.
In the stables, yeah.
The mounts really enjoyed it.
Oh.
Imagine like the stable hands come around like, what the fuck?
Roll me a
Y'all are
perception, all of you.
Still here.
17.
14.
14. All right. With those rolls, all of you do pick up on the fact that the druids and the stable hands that tend to the mounts and everything, they kind of just peek around the corner every once in a while. Like, what is going on? Kind of like the server who's checking on the table that just never leaves, as they just kind of like peek over and they're like, what are you doing? But other than that, like, you're not causing a ruckus, you're not causing any problems, so they just let you be as you all are able to hang around with the mounts with Beatrice and drink your tea and just chit chat and get to know each other better. But with that, is there any way you would like to close your evening? Anything specific you would like to do?
Around what time would it be again?
We're gonna say it's closer to like 5, 6.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize the day got away from me. I need to go see Hera. We're sort of exchanging spells and I'm working on a few that she knows and I need to go study a bit. But tavern perhaps later?
Sure.
Do they call it the tavern here? It sounds more homey that way.
Tavern. The bar. The tavern. Fits.
An invitation must be either denied or accepted, so I will accept. Yes.
Sounds good. Well, I hope to see you both there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I think Friedrich would give Beatrice a little head nuzzle and then scurry out.
Well, I was actually going to go to the tavern, see if I could find Dontier around anywhere. You're more than welcome to join me.
I would very much like to accompany you. I'll follow along shortly.
Okay,
Thank you, Velphie.
of course. And it was a pleasure to get to know you, Ruby.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Velphie will get up and just make her way over to the tavern.
Alrighty. And we're going to follow Velphie for just a bit here. As Velphie goes to the tavern, you do see a red tiefling he's looking around like he's kind of lost. He looks like he's looking for Velphie.
Okay. She'll kind of like hide a little bit. she'll send message or cast message. You look a little lost.
Roll me a stealth check.
18.
Alrighty. He rolled a 25 and immediately picks up on where you are. And you see like this little like smirk come across his face. Hi.
Hi. I guess I should be expected to be found by top assassin.
I mean, I am pretty good at it.
Very good. Very good at it. And she'll make her way over. How was your day?
It's good. We're heading out shortly.
Tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, in that case, I guess be careful out there. safe.
Always.
Message me whenever you want.
Anytime, yeah.
And come back to me in one piece, please. Because I have plans for you.
He gives you like a face. Well, then I definitely got to come home.
Were you planning on not to?
No, where am I going to go? You're home.
Yes. Yeah. Just be safe.
I will. Plus, if something happens, Beltall will make sure I don't die.
Right. Beltov will be there to stop whatever is killing you.
And you just
That-
kind of hear over his shoulder, or maybe I'll just let it have him.
And Velphie will give like the most death stare as she can manage.
Work on that a little bit.
Listen, I'm a bard, okay? But,
She is the best bard ever. And
Thank you.
And Andrea's just like, that is a known fact, Beltov.
Thank you. See? Best bard ever. I did, and she'll turn back to Andir. I did learn something interesting, though, just now. I think your birth mother's here.
You see his whole face fall as he just kind of starts looking around. And with a 28, he still does not see her, as she is not in here in the moment. Okay.
I don't know for sure. The professor said that it was someone that Kalandra did not like.
The only person I can think of that Mom doesn't like is her, so... Well, she didn't. She'll probably avoid me and anyone associated with me. And she didn't necessarily cause trouble in Sydonea, so maybe she'll just find her own way.
Yeah. I mean, after all this time, what could she possibly want? You know?
Can't think of anything she would want from me.
I can. But, well, me, not her, me.
I was very confused.
Me.
As his face just went like, hey, and then like kind of had like a what the fuck face. I was like, wait, what?
Me.
And he just gives you loving caresses.
Yeah.
I'm glad I am wanted.
Always. But I guess, if y'all are headed out now, I won't hold you any longer, no matter how much I want to.
And he just gives you this very tight squeeze. And while that's happening, we're going to pan over to Ruby. What are you doing in this stable?
She will very methodically put down the flames and make sure that there's no live embers, and then slowly clean up to give the animals and the stable hands back their space. And then take out the burnt wood and coals and all the crispy bits out to a place where she can discard them. And just stand there and close her eyes and take a deep breath and cast Primeval Awareness.
Ooh, okay. Remind me what that does.
So if I am in my favored terrain, which is mountains.
You are.
Let's see. Favored terrain. Where are you? Under ranger stuff.
And then
Actions. I can sense aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fays, fiends, or undead within 6 miles.
Ooh, nice. Okay. With that, aberrations, you get some, and you know their exact numbers since you're in mountain, right?
It says I don't know the exact number.
Okay. So you definitely get aberrations everywhere, pretty much. Not within the mountain itself, but like within 6 miles, you can ping so many little packs of them, as there are a lot of aberrations. Those are what you actually fought on your mission here recently. So there's lots of little packs of those within the 6 miles. Dragons, you within 6 miles do not get any. Elementals, you do not get any. Fae, you pick up 1. And then fiends, at the moment, within 6 miles. You don't pick up any fiends. Celestials, though, you pick up within 6 miles. You only pick up 1 celestial. And you know that is Seapair.
Yeah.
I don't think that would count. And then undead. You don't pick up any.
Her eyes flash red as this spell goes through, and she sees these like kind of lights ping around her. And she twists her boots in the dirt and looks down and just mumbles to herself. It's kind of stupid. You're safe. You're safe. You are safe. And it wasn't her. So I guess they all forgot about you, and you can start over, but it'd be nice if they thought about you. But other people can think about you now, right? Get it together. Get it together. Everything is about to be a lot better. And she'll just give a good sigh and make her way to the tavern.
Alrighty. And did you step out to do that?
Yeah,
step
so she
outside?
was like, just if there's like an area that she was like could discard those like,
Okay.
I guess like the dust pile of the fire.
Gotcha. So still inside the mountain. Okay.
Yeah.
And you were able to make it to the tavern. And as you make it to the tavern, you do see Velphie hugging on Tyr very tightly. And Beltov kind of standing there with his arms crossed, kind of giving space, but just kind of backs off as he doesn't want to interrupt the romantic couple any more than he already has. So he just kind of steps away and crosses his arms, and he just looks like he's in another planet right now.
She'll kind of skirt around the sides of the walls and come up behind Beltov. I cannot tell exactly what you're looking at, but it looks like you're being a little bit creepy.
Oh, I was, and he kind of like picks his head up. Sorry. I guess that's kind of my resting face. Creepy resting face. I need to work on that.
No, you don't. I'm just saying what I saw. Doesn't matter if it's natural.
And he giggles a little bit. If that's what you see, I'm sure everybody else sees it too. I don't want to look creepy.
Why? Never mind. Is there bad news? Did I miss bad news?
No, you didn't miss any bad news.
Okay.
We're
You were just, and then there,
Oh, sorry. I just kind of it's safe here. You can kind of disassociate a bit, but no bad news. We are being sent out again, though. Just me and Auntie again.
Well, the same with me this time with people. I was right. So it's going to be a lot better. And you can keep your chin up or down if you want to stay creepy.
I will do a better job at keeping my chin up. I think you're going to enjoy being with them, though.
One could hope. It's not a good thing to be stuck with people that don't like you or don't want you around or just lie to your face. So they seem very competent with their words and telling the truth. They played a game.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you know you are wanted, Ruby.
It's just the type of wanting that matters.
What kind of wanting do you think everyone here thinks?
They want people to help. But they're not looking to use me. They just want me to be useful. And that's a big difference.
You are very useful, Ruby. And you are a good friend. And he gives you like this little squeeze on your shoulder. Come on, little assassin.
Is that me?
He's going towards Auntie.
Oh.
As he calls a little assassin, and he just looks over. He's like, no, and he's like pointing to Auntie.
Oh. Thank goodness. I don't like nicknames.
I will remember that. You were the assassin. Come, and he's like kind of now pulling Auntie away from Velphie.
Just one more minute.
We got to go.
Okay. She'll let go.
Auntie doesn't look like he wants to let go either.
Well, I'll see you when you get back.
Yeah.
What was that? Yeah.
And Beltov looks at him. You know, for somebody who has as much charisma as you have, sometimes I'm very curious about you. I like my finger guns. As he just kind of looks over.
I thought they were adorable.
See? I'm adorable. And they kind of like bicker back and forth between each other as they walk off. As you can tell, like their little bromance is developing between the two of them.
Well, and I imagine I see Ruby since she was talking to Beltov. Well, tavern?
Tavern.
Tavern. And
Tavern.
Beltov will walk over to the tavern.
And you two are able to head to the tavern. And while that is happening, we're going to pan over to Professor Friedrich. You're with Hera.
Tavern. No, sorry. We were. I imagine we're in our whispered copying state. I was just making sure I got a couple hours in today. And then after that, I'd probably bid her adieu. Wish her a good evening. See you tomorrow. I'm sorry I was late this time. And head to the tavern.
And you're able to head to the tavern. And you all are able to enjoy drinks for this evening. Is there any specific conversations you wish to have before you head to sleep?
Nothing from Friedrich.
No, I don't think there's really anything Velphie wants to say either.
Yeah, I think Ruby's just happy to have company. And if any of the songs, if she knows the words to, you kind of see her like get a little caught up in the music.
Fun fact. Ruby would not know the music that Velphie sings.
Hmm.
Roll me a history check.
Ooh. New tracks.
Velphie's mixtape dropping today.
Mix. It's just me on the cover.
And the
It's a
finger guns
9.
in the background. 9.
It's in the
Oh.
back.
Are you proficient in history?
No.
No. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you don't know this music. It doesn't sound like any of the music you listen to.
Enjoyable all the same.
Yeah. But you all are able to enjoy your night in the tavern and head to sleep, get that long rest. Is there anything you would like to do on your last day? Or would you like to just go ahead and start heading into the next day, which is where you're going to be sent off?
For Friedrich, I seem to finish copying Fireball.
You were able to do that.
Ruby will just make sure she has 2 or 3 more dolls and visit with Beatrice since it's actually really nice.
Nice. Beatrice loves the company and enjoys the doll making and watches intently.
I think the only thing Velphie, she probably, if she can catch Karis at any time, she'd ask about the luminous essence. If he was able to grab any for her.
Oh, yeah, okay. Karis does come back pretty late in the evening, but you are able to get his attention. And when you ask about the luminous essence... Oh, I was supposed to ask about that, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I will do that. And he leaves.
Okay.
And he comes back at about an hour later. Sipar says that they're just stones that glow for us. So if you can get one out, you're more than welcome to them.
Okay. Perfect. And Velphie will, with her little dagger, she'll find one and just start trying to pop it out.
Roll me a sleight of hand to make sure you do not cut yourself.
Okay. Natural 20 plus 4.
You are able to, as we don't know what would have happened if you had accidentally hurt yourself.
True. Just over there like...
As the little voice that's accompanied you for a little while does not get angry or anything of that nature, as you're able to plop that stone out.
Nice. One step closer. And should probably go back to the tavern.
All right. And is there anything else you would like to do for this evening? Anything specific?
I guess she'll be cheeky again. And what's wrong with being cheeky?
That's what I was saying. I was like, going to hit up Andrea's DMs.
Yeah. So she'll say, she'll take out her fox, and I guess right before she goes to bed, she'll say, "I'm sending you a mental image. Me, you, a silk-draped bed, and a whole lot of unresolved tension. Feel free to fill in the blanks.
And in a very sultry voice, he responds back, "Does this one include a blindfold?"
She'll pick up her stone. If you want there to be one.
And he holds on to that last message because that's his only message to send back to you for the rest of the, or until the next dawn. And he doesn't want to waste it just in case. But you can almost just visualize him like, "Oh, I just want to say something back." As he cannot say anything back. But with that, you were able to go to sleep. And as you all are getting a long rest, Ruby, I need you to go to Whispers.
Go to Whispers. Oh my gosh.
Whispers, whispers.
Okay.
As you go to sleep and settle your head down, you still have whispers that come to you, and some of them are like, "You won't sleep tonight. No, we have things we need to plan for. We have things we need to plan for today. No, we can't go to bed yet." And then you hear other ones, "But we need to be prepared for tomorrow. Tomorrow's important." And they just kind of start bickering back and forth. But you are finally able to drift off, as that it's kind of becoming background noise to you a little bit. And once you fall asleep, it feels like you're falling, and everything is pitch black, except for this dim purple light. And you come crashing towards the ground, but you stop an inch before you hit. And then once you were hovering above it, it just kind of lets you go. And you are in this like 2 inches deep water.
She'll get her bearings and immediately listen if there's voices or no voices.
There are no voices here.
She just puts her hands on her knees. Silence. Before taking in her surroundings.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Oh, that's not great. 5.
With a 5, you see a dim purple light in the distance. You don't know what the source of it is.
And then looking down at the water, does it seem fresh, swampy?
It seems it's stagnant, but not in the stagnant that you're used to.
Well, while I'm here, and she'll just instinctively reach for the crossbow. Is it there?
It is not.
Oh well. And she'll just begin to meander towards the purple light.
Alrighty. As you start to get closer to the purple light, you do notice the figure that is, or a figure is causing the source of light. And it's a being with a black cloak.
Friend or foe, friend or foe. Just me and you out here, so what is it?
Roll me another perception check.
Oh, it's even worse. A 4.
All right, with a 4, this figure starts to turn around. And with a 4, you can tell that they're extremely thin. Too thin. And they turn around. You can't see their face, as it looks like there's nothing but pitch black that you're looking into, like nothing but a pure void. And it reaches a hand out, a gloved hand. Destroy Erebus. And then it like pushes you out.
She's going to try to make an unarmed swipe.
Go for it.
So she has these long nails that have been painted black, And as it reaches out towards her and she hears the voice, just instinctively just clawing at it.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay. So it's a 7.
A 7 does not hit as you kind of whiff as it pushes you back. And roll me another perception check.
One more. I can feel it. This one's gonna work. So, okay. 19.
19. As you swipe, you manage to, like, you don't hit it, but you manage to catch a little bit of its hood, and you swipe it enough to where you see the slightest glimpse of this thing's face. It is bone white. And you are very well known with bones. You see a skull with hollowed out eyes, a view that might haunt your dreams for a little while. As this skeleton with nothing but voids is looking at you as it pushes you back, saying, "Destroy Erebus." And as it pushes you back, you hear these whispers, and they start to accumulate louder and louder and louder and louder and louder.
She drags her fingernails through her hair as the voices return.
And as you start saying, "No, no," you wake up. And your hands are in your hair, and you're holding your head as images of this bone white skeleton, the skull, is commanding you to destroy Erebus.
She immediately jerks her fingers down from her head. Only if you choose to. You always have a choice. The lights are on now. And she'll try to just shake it off and ease back into sleep, hoping to finally get some rest.
Roll me a religion check as you're going to sleep.
Religion. That is a 14.
With a 14 and seeing that face, you've seen this before. You know that that is a depiction of the god of death.
Once that chilly recognition hits her, she gets up out of bed, paces, does the same mantra. You are safe. You are safe. You are safe. And gets back in bed.
And with that, we're going to go back to the rest of the party.
Okie dokie. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have chills.
And as you all get a long rest and you wake up the next morning, which is the day you were supposed to leave, that is where we're going to call tonight's session. Thank you so much for watching Session 32 of the Order of Narvosc. Session 33 will be out on January 24th. Please make sure to check out our players' social media accounts. They are wonderful and they deserve your support. And if you're interested in merch, you can find that link in the description below. Lastly, if this is the kind of content you enjoy, please press that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell. That way you get notified when Session 33 comes out. Be the light that drives out the darkness, adventurer. We'll see you soon.